catch, hopefully getting off the mound this week. And Sandlin's going to pitch in Buffalo tomorrow. Tony's down there in Florida, too. He's still he's 7 days, I think, post-injection, and he's still kind of just rehabbing from that.
Will Varsh come straight here from Florida, or do you anticipate a couple of...
I'm not sure yet. It may be a couple games. Depends on how much time he actually ends up missing. He was very adamant about, he spent a lot of time rehabbing, whether it was off-season or beginning of the year. So we want to get him back as quick as we can, obviously.
That's a snippet of John Schneider chatting with Hazel May, Dan Schulman, Ben Nicholson-Smith, and Keegan Matheson as well. Before we get to the starting lineups for today's ball game, let's get to the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Orioles are 26-38. The Red Sox are 32-35. The Blue Jays and Rays are both 35-30. The Yankees are atop the division. They are 39-25. If we take a look at the wild card standings in the American League, and yes, I understand it's quite early still. Still a lot of baseball left to be played as of June 9th, which is today, of course. Here are the wild card standings. The Twins, Rays, and Blue Jays are all 35-30. So there you go. Those are your three wild card teams as of right now. The Yankees are leaders in the East. The Tigers are leaders in the Central, and the Astros, at least of right now, are leaders in the AL West. Teams that are, of course, in the hunt. The three teams I mentioned, Twins, Rays, and Blue Jays, are 35-30. The Seattle Mariners and Cleveland Guardians are hot in their tails. The Guards are 34-30. The Mariners are 33-31, so half a game and 1.5 games back, respectively. The Royals, 34-32, also 1.5 games back. So still a long ways to go with the wild card race, but as of right now, at least, the Blue Jays are in a playoff spot. Before we get you back over to Ben and Chris, who are standing by for the call of today's ball game, let's get to the starting lineups for the Blue Jays. A rare DH day for Bo Bichette. He is batting leadoff. At first base is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He is batting second. Addison Barger, who has had a torrid last couple of weeks, is batting third at third base. Catching today is Alejandro Kirk. He is batting cleanup. George Springer's in right field. He is batting fifth, batting sixth. Andres Jimenez, he is at second base. Davis Schneider is batting seventh. He's in left field. Ernie Clement's at shortstop with the DH day for Bo. He is batting eighth. And batting ninth is Jonathan Clase. He is in center field. As Ben said earlier, Jose Berrios has been sensational over 2 starts, and he starts once again for the Blue Jays. For the Cardinals, here's the starting lineup. Lars Nootbaar is in left field. He's batting leadoff. Mason Wynn is at shortstop, batting second. Batting third is Brendan Donovan at second base. Batting cleanup today at first base, Wilson Contreras. Catching is Ivan Herrera, batting fifth. Batting sixth, Nolan Arenado. At third base as usual, Alec Burleson is batting seventh in right field. Nolan Gorman is DHing. He is batting eighth. And Victor Scott II is batting ninth. He is in center field. Andre Palante starts for the Cardinals. All right, we are just about a minute or two away from first pitch at Busch Stadium. So let's get you over to the call of the game. With the call, here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Cardinals are walking out onto the field in their typical white jerseys, 2 birds and a yellow bat, and Cardinals across the chest as the Blue Jays get set for this 3-game series. 2 teams in different leagues, but in fairly similar spots right now. In and around the wild card conversation, Blue Jays 5 over 500, Cardinals 7 over 500, only a game better than Toronto. And kind of like the Minnesota series, this is probably one, Chris, where a lot of games are going to be decided by a run or two.
Yeah, and it's a good thing for the Toronto Blue Jays that Jose Berrios is on the mound right now. 1 run he's given up over his last couple of starts. He is on some kind of roll, throwing that sinker wherever he wants it, and really mixing in that changeup too. I'm really excited to see him throw against a very, very good St. Louis Cardinals club.
Guy we'll see throw first, though, is the right-hander Andre Palante, 6 foot tall, 215 pounds, 26-year-old from Mission Viejo, California, was a 4th-rounder by the Cardinals in 2019 out of UC Irvine. On the season, he's 4-3 with a 4.91 ERA in 12 starts. He's one of the younger starters that, if you were with us earlier, the Athletics' Katie Wu was talking about. And he's had some really high highs, but he's also had some lows, especially his last start where he gave up 7 in 4 1/3 to the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, and if you look at that ERA, it's pretty inflated, 4.91 ERA. He's not having that bad of a season. Like you said, just gave up 7 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings to the Kansas City Royals. He's a good pitcher. He's got good stuff, a lot of funk, really hard to pick up out of his hand. He's going to be a tough one.
Palante, a big ground ball pitcher, will take on Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Addison Barger in the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. In the royal blue jersey with gray pants, Bo Bichette walks up to the plate, gives a tap to catcher Ivan Herrera, and steps into the box. Blue Jays won 2 of 3 in their last series against the Twins, scoring 5 or more in each of their 2 wins. Bo Bichette will try to set the table as they look to do something like that again. Palante facing third, glove high, gets into the wind and the pitch. Fastball ripped foul off to the right. 0-1. Time of the first pitch, 7:46 Eastern, 24 degrees and pretty sunny in St. Louis, Missouri. Bichette, a .270 batter, 8 homers. Faces the 0-1 from Palante. Inside at 94. 1 ball, 1 strike. First pitch Bo saw was a 4-seamer. That one a sinker. Also a slider and knuckle curve for the right-hander. He steps back, kicks and offers. Swing and a foul to the right. Middle 4-seamer sent away. 1-2.
Palante is just filling up that strike zone right now to Bo Bichette. 3 straight fastballs to start off this ballgame. 94, 95 miles an hour.
He's had a couple of starts where the walks have piled up, but for the most part, he's got good command. Here's the righty's 1-2. Rolled off the end of the bat toward the mound, picked up by Palante, and he'll underhand flip to first for the out.
And that was a slider right there. Pretty tough pitch. Doesn't have a ton of movement, 91 miles an hour, but it acts almost like a cutter where it just darts to the left at the very last second, missing the barrel of Bo Bichette.
One thing you do know from Palante, kind of like you mentioned there, the velocity fluctuation is not that high. Almost everything is kind of 88 to 94. The one change of pace pitch is the knuckle curve, which he throws about 10% of the time. 1 out, he'll deal to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Foul tip, strike 1.
And it's a good knuckle curve as well. It's that true 12-6 knuckle curve that you see maybe Braden Fisher, even Brendan Little. Brendan Little is not so much 12-6, but it has a ton of break. Doesn't stay in that zone very long.
0-1 pitch is the curve, rolled over to third base, picked up by Nolan Arenado, and one of the best to do it at third. Tosses over to first, 2 down. Out call made over at first base by Clint Vondrak. At the plate today, Dan Bellino. Second base umpire is Phil Cuzzy. Tony Randazzo is at third. 2 outs on a pair of ground balls. That's exactly what Andre Palante wants to do. Now he'll deal to Addison Barger. Swing and a line drive, left field, down near the line. 2 hops and it's into the glove of Nootbaar. Big turn at first for Barger, but he stops at the bag with a 2-out single.
Yeah, Addison Barger thought about going to second for a split second. Lars Nootbaar doing a good job cutting that ball off and getting it into the infield really quickly. But another good swing for Addison Barger going the other way. 96 miles an hour with that fastball. It's a pretty tough pitch to hit.
Top of the zone, maybe even above the zone. Barger still got on top of it. He's on first, 2 outs. No score, and Alejandro Kirk up. Palante kicks and deals. Curveball low, or pardon me, the slider, ball 1. That slider a little slower at 86, a little more movement than the one he threw to Bo Bichette. That's another pitch that pretty much drops straight down. 1-0 to Kirk. Swinging a ground ball right side through the hole and into right field. Barger hits the bag at second. Another big turn, but he'll put on the brakes and stop there. Back-to-back singles for the Blue Jays with 2 outs.
Well, Kirk is just so good at going the other way. Brendan Donovan, Cardinals second baseman, was shaded up the middle towards second base, leaving that big hole on the right side. And again, we've seen Alejandro Kirk do that so many times this season. Just shoots that ground ball. Didn't hit it all that hard, but he knows that hole is over there, and he gets it.
A .303 hitter coming into the game. His average has only increased because of that hit. And now 2 on and 2 out. The pitch to George Springer is a high slider, ball 1. Top of the first inning, no score. Barger on second, Kirk on first. The 1-0. Slider for a strike. George Springer, a .251 hitter, 14 doubles and 10 homers. He's come up with an extra base hit in 4 straight games. In his career, he's never in the regular season come up with an extra base hit in 5 in a row. 1-1. Swing and a line drive, left field, headed to the corner. That's down for a base hit, bouncing into the wall. In to score, Barger. Coming around third, Alejandro Kirk. He'll stop there. Springer into second with an RBI double. His 100th double as a Blue Jay, and it's 1-0 in the first.
Well, it just seems like every time he comes up to the plate, he comes up with a big knock there early in this ball game against a very tough pitcher. A tough St. Louis Cardinals team. Every run the Blue Jays get is important. What a swing. A sinker on the inside part of the plate. Pulls those hands through, gets the barrel to it. Blue Jays are up 1-0 here in the first.
Well, now he has come up with an extra base hit in 5 straight games in the regular season in his career. Springer on second, on third, Kirk, and the pitch to Andres Jimenez. 96 top of the zone, strike 1. Jimenez up to the 6th spot in the order today. First time he's hit there since May 1st, although injured for most of the time in between. 0-1. A little bit high, says home plate umpire Dan Bellino. Tilt to the head from the catcher Ivan Herrera, who thought that was in the zone. It's 1-1.
And why not, Ben? That average is up to 206.
He has hit well. I know you're being tongue-in-cheek, but he has hit well since coming back. 4 for 13. Double, a couple of walks. 1-1. Rolled over toward first base. Palante scrambles to the line, picks it up, shovels it over to first to end the inning. The Blue Jays, with 3 straight 2-out hits, get on the board. Singles from Barger and Kirk, and then an RBI double from George Springer. 2 left for Toronto, but they lead 1-0, middle of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your...
Hey Insiders, thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Cardinals and the Blue Jays. Much appreciated. We're having a good time here in the chat already, and I just wanted to remind you that we are live tonight doing what we do best. Hanging out together, changing the world one insider at a time for the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Game 3. Pop on over in the chat over there. Say what's up. Chat it up with the rest of the world. And let's have some fun tonight. Staying up to date on our current events. The Blue Jays and the Cardinals. The Stanley Cup Finals. Come on, Canada. Let's go, Oilers. We appreciate you being here. Please hit the like button. Share this link out to your friends. Let's get more baseball fans and hockey fans here to our awesome community, where we're raising money for SickKids Hospital every single game. A huge donation incoming for the next month of Playoff Pulse games and hangouts that we've had here on Toronto Sports Insider. And we thank you for being here. Please check that link that's pinned in the chat. That's going to take you to our homepage with SickKids, and you will see our progress so far. Cheers, everybody. Go Blue Jays, go. Go Oilers, go. We'll see you in the chat.
Concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
1-0 Blue Jays as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Blue Jays at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And after George Springer's RBI double, Jose Berrios takes the mound with a lead. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Jose Berrios making his 14th start of the year, 2-2 with a 3.67 earned run average. 31-year-old, 6 foot tall, 205 pounds from Puerto Rico. Comes set and deals to Lars Nootbaar. Sinker at the knees, strike 1. Berrios' last start against Philadelphia on June the 4th, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. He threw 89 pitches. 0-1. Slurve hit foul, and it's 0-2.
How good was he in his last start? My goodness. Just absolutely in command from the first pitch.
He was really, really good 2 starts ago. It was against the A's. I think people were like, well, let's see it
it's the
translate. 0-2. Hooked on the ground towards second base. Picked up there by Andres Jimenez. Quick throw to first. Nootbaar retired, 1 down. He translated it against the Phillies. Made them look silly at times. And now he's got a pretty tough offense to go up against in the St. Louis Cardinals. And a big part of it is the guy coming up now, the speedy shortstop, Mason Wynn. Mix for Jose Berrios is sinker, slurve, changeup, four-seamer, and cutter. Changeup, cutter, big pitches to lefties for Berrios. Right on right, he deals to Wynn, and it's a backdoor sinker that just didn't creep back over the plate. Ball 1.
He's starting to throw that changeup just a little bit more to righties. Yeah. It seems like the confidence is increasing with every single start. He throws that thing 17% of the time.
1-0. Slurve. Painted on the corner. Strike 1. 1-1 count to Mason Wynn, 23-year-old from Katy, Texas. 5'9" shortstop. 1-1. Missed low with the sinker. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wynn in his 3rd major league season, 2nd full season, was really impressive last year for St. Louis. Played in 150 games, 15 homers, hitting the 260s, played really good defense at short as well. The 2-1. Slurve popped up, middle of the infield. The shortstop today, Ernie Clement, makes a wave for it with his glove hand and makes the catch underhanded. 2 down.
That's pretty good play over there at shortstop for Ernie Clement. Nice little easy pop-up to start his day, but how about that slurve from Jose Berrios right down the middle, a lot of movement on it. Mason Wynn with an awkward swing.
When he's got the slurve going, it's too early for us to know now, but when he does, it's almost always a good day for Jose Berrios. 2 quick outs, and Brendan Donovan comes up. Pitch to the left-handed hitter is at the knees. Strike 1. We saw Max Kepler recently. Well, this is another German-born major leaguer in Brendan Donovan. 0-1. Called a ball. That's a pretty perfect pitch. Alejandro Kirk looked to the side in frustration. Pitch appeared to clip the upper and inner corner of the zone, but instead it's 1-1.
Yeah, Jose Berrios was actually tilting his head, letting home plate umpire Dan Bellino know that was a strike.
1-1. Grounded foul, 1-2. Donovan from Würzburg in Germany, grew up in Alabama. 7th rounder by the Cardinals out of South Alabama in 2018. 1-2. Grounded towards second base. High hop for Jimenez. Gloves it near his left shoulder and throws to first to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Jose Berrios. The ball never left the infield. It's 1-0 Blue Jays after an inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
For every fan who never stopped dreaming of her music. Siempre Selena. Timeless hits and powerful memories on a channel devoted to the voice that broke barriers and still inspires. Siempre Selena. Now for a limited time on Channel 79 and at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, and other internet-connected devices.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Viva Mexico 250 from Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the second inning, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. First pitch of the inning, misses down and away to Davis Schneider. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the second. Schneider, Clement, Clase to hit this inning for the Blue Jays. 7-8-9. 1-0. Swing and a foul back, hit high in the air over the netting into the seats first base side. 1-1. Schneider will ask for time. It's granted by home plate umpire Dan Bellino. Mustache wearing and rec spec wearing slugger is starting today in left field, and it's not a left-handed pitcher on the mound. A little bit of a change. 1-1. Swing and a pop-up, foul first base side. It's given a look by Contreras, but that one into the seats out of play again, 1-2. Typically, we're used to seeing, at least since he came back up, if it's a lefty, Schneider's in, and other than that, mostly starts on the bench. Hunched over in his stance, knees bent. Schneider awaits a 1-2 from Andre Palante. Curve in the dirt. Good take by Davis. Started the swing, but holds up on a pitch that bounced.
Well, obviously something has changed for Davis Schneider. In his last 10 games at AAA, he's 10 for 32. Pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And since he's been called up to Toronto, he's 4 for 9. Pretty good.
2-2 pitch. Hit it foul into his own ankle. Hopping around right now. He hit it off that lead left ankle. Put some weight on it, but he's still testing it out as he walks around the dirt circle. 4 for 9, a homer, 2 walks in 3 games since coming back.
Obviously a small sample size, but it's better to be good in a small sample size than bad in a small sample size. Davis Schneider, at least in this sample size, has figured something out.
He was 1 for 15 in his first stint, and he just didn't seem like he was in a rhythm at all his first time up with the Jays. Looks much more like it this time. 2-2. Swing and a ground ball up the middle. Hit right at Mason Wynn, the shortstop. Gathers, tosses on to first to get Schneider. 1 down.
That's a pretty good arm over there. Mason Wynn just throws that ball across the diamond. A lot like Addison Barger.
He could really pick it. Mason Wynn. He's got 86th percentile arm strength, which you look at him, he's 5'9", 180 something. He doesn't look like a guy with a cannon, but this was a really, really strong two-way player in high school, and actually a guy that got drafted as a two-way player by the Cardinals. First pitch to Ernie Clement, lined out to left field and down, bouncing onto the warning track. Newpar picks it up near the wall, and Clement jogs into second with a first pitch double.
Well, that was a hanging breaking ball, and Ernie Clement, as he's done over the last month or so, just hammers mistakes from pitchers. Just drills that ball into the left field corner. I thought Lars Nootbaar could cut that ball off and maybe keep Ernie Clement at first base, but he let that ball go to the wall, and Ernie Clement ends up at second base with a double.
Fourth hit already for the Blue Jays, and second double as Palante has faced 8 batters. It's 1-0 Toronto, 1 out, top of the second. Pitch to Jonathan Clase. Called inside. There's a thin inner edge to the strike zone today. 1-0. That pitch, kind of like a Berrios pitch in the first inning, really appeared to be in the zone. Clase, the switch hitter, bats left, hitting 207, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Four-seamer at the knees to even up the count at 1-1.
That's a big swing from Jonathan Clase there, trying to go deep.
He's got some power, Jonathan Clase. Only one major league home run. We saw that last season at Rogers Center. 1-1. Bounced it foul, hit him in the back, and rolls off toward the first base dugout. 1-2. Clase with limited opportunities with runners in scoring position this year, but he's 5 for 12 in those chances so far. 1-2. In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a .417 average.
I think he's a good player. If he gets a long look at the major league level, I think he'll be fine. He's looked even better. He's looked pretty solid over the last 3 weeks or so. I really like what he's trying to do up there.
Draws another start in center field today, 2-2. Swing and a hard grounder hit at second. Eats up Donovan a little bit, but he still has it. Tosses over to first for the out. Up to third goes Ernie Clement, and there are 2 down.
And you could see that he really cut down his swing with 2 strikes. That's the approach that's really changed for him. I think when he first got called up, at least to the Blue Jays, he still had that big swing with 2 strikes, and that's where he got into trouble.
After the Class A ground out, 2 outs, runner on third, and Ernie Clement. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the second. And Bo Bichette is up. Palante kicks and offers. Bichette with his swing and a miss, tried to hold up but couldn't on the sinker that ran inside. 0-1.
That's a good pitch. Bo Bichette trying to ambush right there. Little sinker on the inside part of the plate, off the plate.
Sinker's a big weapon to righties for Andre Palante. Doesn't throw it a ton to left-handed hitters. 0-1. Swing and a miss at the curve. Pretty good sequence there from Palante. 0-2.
That curve has a ton of break to it. Started almost above the strike zone, ended up in the dirt.
26-year-old Palante trying to get through the second. 2 strikes and 2 outs, runner on third. His pitch. Down and away with the slider. 4th major league season for Palante. He's bounced back and forth at different times in his career between starting and relieving, sometimes bouncing back and forth within a season. 1-2. Swing and a line drive down in center field, a base hit. Jogging home, Ernie Clement. Bo Bichette doubles the Blue Jay advantage. It's 2-0 thanks to Bichette's RBI single in the second inning.
Well, Palante and Ivan Herrera were trying to come in to Bo Bichette, trying to jam him, and Palante just left that fastball over the middle of the plate. It was down, but Bo Bichette goes down and just golfs that thing, hit it really hard into center field for an RBI and a 2-0 Blue Jays lead.
Blue Jays will love the early offense so far. Pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. now, misses outside, ball 1. Palante up to 30 pitches so far. He's allowed 5 hits and 2 runs to the Blue Jays in an inning and 2/3. Comes set, glove near his chin. Bichette leading off first. Step off throw over to first, and Bichette dives back in. Thirteenth start of the year for the righty. Most starts he's made in the season came last year when he made 20 starts and 29 overall appearances. 1-0 pitch is lifted out toward right center field. Ranging back, Victor Scott puts a hand in the air and catches it in front of the warning track to end the inning. The Blue Jays add to their advantage. 1-out double by Ernie Clement, 2-out single by Bo Bichette to drive him in, and it's 2-0 Toronto, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your...
Hey baseball fans, thanks for hanging out with us tonight on Toronto Sports Insider, wherever you are watching from all over the world. I just wanted to say thank you for being here and making a difference in our community and showing the world how we can make a difference together on YouTube, because that's what this is all about. Insiders, I am grateful to have met so many thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people over this time. We must enjoy every single moment that we have together. Moving forward, we'll see you back in the chat. Go Blue Jays, go. Go Oilers, go. Go Insiders, go. Let's go show the world how we make a difference with SickKids Hospital. Can't wait. Be on the lookout for a video that'll be dropping very soon, where we'll be talking with SickKids Hospital about what we do and about where all of this fundraising benefits our great partner with SickKids Hospital. We'll see you soon with that video. Can't wait to chat with you, Samara. tomorrow, Wednesday. I don't even remember which day it is anymore. All the days keep running together. Now let's get back to the baseball, the hockey, the basketball, the whatever it is, and we'll see you back in the chat.
Locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Clement vacuums it up, throws to second one. Jimenez to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Jose Berrios back on the hill, and the Blue Jays have given him another run thanks to the Bo Bichette RBI single. It's 2-0 Blue Jays as we start the bottom of the second. Wilson Contreras leads off and takes a strike, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Lone trip to St. Louis this year. First time the Blue Jays have been here since the opening series of 2023. And Jose Berrios having pitch comm issues. I imagine at least in your time with the Pirates, if not also with the Marlins, you would have pitched in St. Louis. What's that environment like?
It's a great environment, and I think the best thing for the Blue Jays right now is playing there at the beginning of June. If you play there in July, in August, it gets really muggy, really hot. Not a fun place to play in the middle of the summertime. So it's definitely a good thing that the Blue Jays ended up in St. Louis at the beginning of June.
Yeah, early June, and it's 24 degrees, and it can get pretty humid there at times as well. It's 47% humidity there right now, so not terrible. And Berrios again having a pitch comm issue. We already did my rant on this a month ago, so I'm not even going to address it, but entertaining, really entertaining watching the pitch comm. Vote your Blue Jays and send them to the All-Star Game in Atlanta. Voting for the 2024 All-Star Game is open from now until June 26th. Vote up to 5 times per day. You can visit bluejays.com/vote to get your votes in. And maybe Jose Berrios, as he starts to heat up, making a little outside run. You can't vote for Jose Berrios. That is going to be selected rather than fan voted. But Berrios already a 2-time All-Star in his career. All right, they got the pitch comm working now, we think. So here's the second pitch of the inning. And it's down and away, ball 1.
I think if there's an issue with the pitch comm, you can't get a new pitch comm. That should be the rule. You have to just go to the fingers.
Maybe like until the next batter or something?
Until the next inning. You have to go out there with fingers the whole inning.
1-1. Bounce, 2-1.
And it sounds...
I was going to say, I'll have rules that definitely aren't going to be put in place for 500 hours or 600, Alex.
It's not even that big of a deal. I just don't understand the fact that everybody dislikes the fingers so much.
Two-one pitch. Outside ball 3. Well, it's only in there because of a certain team a certain number of years ago. So you can blame them. Because now everyone has to be more concerned about their signs being stolen. 3-1. Swing and a miss, and Contreras slips down to a knee. Violent hack there on a middle fastball. Full count.
Another point to your question, if I'd ever played against the Cardinals, but it was a different team. It was Matt Holliday, Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, a ton of stars. Very different than this current Cardinals lineup, but very similar success.
Time was called before the pitch. Berrios felt like he was already in the motion, so he tossed it high into the backstop. I think that was on purpose. I think Jose Berrios was trying to send a message with that. I could be wrong. Wilson Contreras, potentially an apology for the late call, walked to go get the ball himself.
So I've always thought you'll see a lot of pitchers in the middle of their windup either hold on to the ball or throw the ball into the grass. I think that's the best way to do it. Just let go of that baseball. You don't risk injury.
3-2. Bounce ball 4. Contreras with a big bat flip. He takes a walk to lead off the inning.
How about Wilson Contreras? He's in his 10th big league season.
A guy who just in recent years, due to some injury and some huge stars on the Cardinals, has maybe slipped into the background a bit, but a really good player. Multiple-time All-Star, 3 of them As a Chicago Cub, won the World Series with the Cubs in 2016. He's on first, and Ivan Herrera is at the plate. The catcher for the Cardinals pops it up. In between first and second, Andres Jimenez will call for it and make the catch on the edge of the outfield grass. 1 out.
Also, if you know anything about Wilson Contreras, that big bat flip after taking a walk is not surprising.
No, that's just classic. He likes to have fun. He seems to be one of the guys who leads baseball in smiling at the ballpark every day. He's having a good time. He inked a 5-year, $87.5 million contract with the Cardinals ahead of 2023.
I'd be smiling too.
Going from the Cubs to the Cardinals, though, that's not a move that everyone makes. Pitch to Nolan Arenado. Hit on the ground towards short. Right at Clement. Underhand flip. Jimenez 1. Throw over to first. Double play. 6-4-3. The Blue Jays turn it, erasing the leadoff walk of Contreras and keeping it 2-0 Blue Jays after 2 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting over Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer charges the ball to left field. It's in the seats, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays 2, Cardinals nothing as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Addison Barger leading off, and the pitch from Andre Palante. Fastball down the middle, strike 1. Barger with a single and a run scored in the 1st inning has been on quite the roll for about a month now. 0-1. Curve outside. Overall on the season, Barger now hitting .268. His on-base plus slugging is at .829 in 45 games. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good slider just below the zone. 1-2. And it's only getting better. In his last 10 games, 5 homers, 10 RBIs, and a slugging percentage above 700. The 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And it just seems like the vast majority of those home runs have been really important.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because he's a guy that early in his career was trying to do too much.
2-2 is fouled back. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And in those big situations, you have to calm yourself down. You have to try to not do too much. So he's really growing as a big leaguer for sure.
It seems as if, in talking to him and some of the hitting coaches and John Schneider, he's kind of built his approach slowly. 2-2. Low ball 3. You could see earlier when he was heating up, he hit a bunch of doubles. Actually didn't hit that many home runs. And he was, just making sure he was having good at-bats. Once he did that consistently and got a feel, now he started to take some shots mixed in. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the 4-seamer just below the knees. Out number 1 comes by way of the K.
Yeah, it might have been a ball just below that strike zone, but a tough pitch. 96 miles an hour with a lot of downward angle to it.
Palante's pretty straight over the top. He throws his glove arm at you first and then swims his right arm almost right over his head. Here's his pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Bounced it, ball one. He's kind of fiddling around with the ball as he was already into his windup there. Wonder if he didn't have a good grip on it.
It's almost like that front arm, that glove arm, hides the baseball because it comes up so high. That's probably part of the reason why he's so effective.
1-0. Swing and a miss. It's kind of old-fashioned looking, his windup in a way. Kirk will ask for time. 1 out in this third inning, 2-0 Blue Jays. Bases are empty. Kirk came up with a single in the first to boost his average to 306 on the season. The 1-1. Check swing, tapper, foul, 1-2.
He has the motion that you probably don't teach somebody. I know we've said this about a few guys this season, but if it's working, if he's throwing strikes, if he's repeating his delivery, you don't mess with it. And here he is in the big leagues.
1-2. Curve high. This third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Laval at Repentigny, Quebec. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center. Visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Kirk swings at a 2-2 curve, grounds it foul behind the back of third base coach Carlos Fabulous, and it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mentioned earlier, Palante drafted out of UC Irvine. He's set, his black glove near his chin, and the 2-2. Bounce foul again. Before that, he was at San Clemente High School in San Clemente, California. A year older than him, current major leaguer Colby Allard was pitching in the rotation with him. And then by the time he's finishing up there, his current rotation mate, Michael McGreevy, was pitching with him there. McGreevy went yesterday, 2-2. Hit foul back behind the plate, out of play.
So you're saying they have a good baseball program there in San Clemente? Nice.
I don't know if it's the Harvard Westlake Free Giolito Flaherty trio, but they got something going. 2-2 again. Looped out toward left field, pretty deep. Nootbaar going back. That ball down on the warning track, bouncing into the fence. Kirk jogs up to second. The Blue Jays have a third double in as many innings, and for Kirk, his 7th of the year.
Well, Alejandro Kirk had seen a couple of knuckle curves in that at-bat already, and it's almost like he was comfortable with that one there. It was pretty good below the strike zone, but he just kept those hands back and drilled it into the corner in left field. A pretty nice approach, really good swing there for a double for Alejandro Kirk. Still just 1 out in the inning.
I didn't see him getting that much on it. He kind of just went down there and put the bat out, but it carried a long way. Pitch down to George Springer. Fastball low. Pardon me, clips the bottom of the zone. Strike 1. Springer had a double in the first inning to open the scoring. Still 2-0 for the Blue Jays, top of the third. Kirk on second with 1 out. 0-1. In the dirt, good block off the chest protector by the catcher Herrera. For Springer, it was his 100th double as a Toronto Blue Jay, and now 5 games in a row with extra base hits. Only time he's done more than that, he had extra base hits in 6 straight in the 2017 World Series. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Big hack by Springer. He goes down to a knee. 1-2.
Just to go back to your Harvard Westlake thing,
Go ahead.
I'm almost 100% certain that the Harvard Westlake school that those guys went to is sport specific. So they bring people in from all over Southern California.
1-2 pitch, hit on the ground, up the middle, backhanded deep. Donovan, long throw over to first, just gets the sprinting George Springer. Up to third base goes Alejandro Kirk, and there are 2 outs.
That's a pretty nice play from Brendan Donovan on the shortstop side of second base, making that throw across the diamond for the second out of the inning. Alejandro Kirk going to third, but that's a really nice play by the second baseman.
Oh, and now this is interesting. Dan Bellino just made a signal grazing his right hand with his left hand. He's saying there was catcher's interference on that and that George Springer is safe at first. You can hear Herrera saying no. But I believe the call on the field now is catcher's interference. It is. So that'll be no at-bat for Springer, error on the catcher, and it's first and second, one out.
It's interesting. We've seen this happen to George Springer before, but normally he'll point back at the catcher and signal that it's in fact catcher's interference. Didn't do anything there.
Well, they called it for him, and the first pitch now to Andres Jimenez is low, ball one. Yeah, you're right. He ran out that play like he didn't contact anything. I wonder if he didn't notice, because the replay look we got, it was barely a skim. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. But the Blue Jays will take it, and out off the board, and an extra guy on the base paths for Andres Jimenez, who's 0 for 1 today with a ground out to the mound.
But Alejandro Kirk is at second base, so you'll probably have to hit something down the line into the gap to score him from second.
1-1, bounces in front of the plate, 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1. Grounded foul, 2-2.
That's a really tough error, by the way, on Ivan Herrera.
Really tough.
We saw the replay, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but I didn't see anything on the replay.
I thought I saw a glove movement a little bit on the swing. I mean, they have, better angles to look at if there were ever to be any sort of review. 2-2. Jimenez checks his swing. Pitch nearly hit him in the hand. Four-seamer on the inner half, actually off the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Andres Jimenez has driven in 10 so far this year in 40 games. 2 on the pond for him, 1 out, 2-0 Blue Jays, top of the third. Alante brings his hands together. A breath and the 3-2. Fouled back. Four-seamer top of the zone, sent back into the screen.
That's a really important run standing out at second base right now, especially with Jose Berrios and the way he's been pitching. Hasn't given up many runs. It would be really, really nice for him if he can go out there with a 3-0 lead.
Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Again, that downward moving fastball, threw it to the bottom of the zone, maybe even below it. That's probably been the nastiest pitch that Palante has had today. Second strikeout of the inning.
Yeah, there's not much sink to it. It just like you said, he throws almost directly over the top, and it has a lot of down angle on it. Tough to square up. We saw Addison Barger swing over the top of a fastball below the strike zone, and Andres Jimenez does the same thing there for the second out of the inning.
First pitch to Davis Schneider misses low, ball 1. 2 on, 2 out, 2-0 Blue Jays, top of the third. Schneider waves the bat above his right shoulder. 1-0. Is hit on the ground up the middle. Ranging to get it, Mason Wynn wins the race to second base, beating George Springer there. And that will do it for the inning. Blue Jays do not score. They pick up 1 hit, 1 error in the frame, 2 left on base. It's 2-0 Blue Jays, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back,
It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
Radio Network.
Home half of the third inning. Cardinals batting at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-0 for the Blue Jays. Jose Berrios has faced the minimum through 2 innings. He allowed 1 walk in the second, but erased it with a ground ball double play. He'll take on the number 7 hitter in the order for the Cardinals, left-handed hitting slugger, Alec Burleson. Berrios kicks and deals, and Burleson takes low ball 1. Burleson, a big left-handed hitter, 296 with 5 homers and 20 RBIs. He's traded a little bit of power for average this year. He'll take a pitch on the outside edge now to make it 1-1. Last season, Burleson clubbed 21 homers, but hit in the 260s. 1-1. Off the handle, a pop-up foul to the left. Really tied him up with a cutter up and in, 1-2.
That was a great cutter. Good location, good movement on that thing. An awkward swing from Burleson. He only throws that cutter 6% of the time. Might want to mix that in a little bit more tonight.
Pitch he started developing last spring. 1-2. Poked away foul. Good job by Burleson to even cover that changeup that was well off the plate, down and away.
Such a good sequence. Up and in, down and away. Maybe he was just guessing the fact that they just came up and in, so they're probably going to go down and away with something soft.
If he did, it was a good guess. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Missed the spot, but got the whiff on a 4-seam fastball off the plate away. First strikeout of the day for Jose Berrios.
That's such a nice pitch. A lot of movement on it. Like you said, missed the spot by a good amount, but it was a great miss. Ran right off the plate. Burleson swings over the top of it.
So 1 out, and here comes Nolan Gorman, another sizable left-handed hitter. He's the DH today for St. Louis. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Gorman, Cardinals first rounder out of high school in Phoenix, Arizona. Big prospect coming up. Next pitch called a strike. 1-1. Drafted in 2018. Before he was drafted, he played in the equivalent of the McDonald's All-American game for baseball, the Under Armour All-America baseball game. 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1. Among the best high school players in the U.S. and actually won the home run derby at that event as well. Now in his 4th big league season, some ups and downs for Gorman. 2-1. Swing and a line drive foul down the right field line. Hits off the tarp, and it's 2-2.
Well, Gorman does have a lot of pop. Just 2 homers this season, but if you go back to 2023, he had 27 homers, 76 RBIs. So if you leave one over the middle, he can run into one.
That's when he was 23 years old, and he had that season. It looked like he'd be a staple of the lineup for the Cardinals going forward. He still could be. It's only 25 right now. 2-2. Outside with the changeup, ball 3.
You got a short leash for your youngsters, don't you?
I said he still did. Had a tough 2024, though. Hit around 200. 3-2. Lifted foul back behind the plate.
Berrios tried to power that fastball by him. 94. Gorman just got a piece of it to stay alive.
Full count, 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the 3rd. 2-0 Blue Jays. Berrios look it in, rocks and deals. And the pitch is lined out to right field and down for a base hit. It was in between Guerrero and Jimenez and high enough that none of them could go after it. It's the first hit of the day for the Cardinals.
It was the right pitch. But Gorman just stayed back, kept those hands back, and flicked that big long bat right on the outside part of the plate, got the barrel to it, and just got enough of it to get it into right field. Not a bad pitch from Jose Berrios. Pretty good 3-2 changeup there.
I don't know how he hooked that pitch. It was way outside. He's on first down. The pitch to Victor Scott II is outside, ball 1. Scott, a left-handed hitting center fielder, hitting .239 on the year, .644 on base plus slugging, and one of the fastest guys in baseball. The pitch, outside, ball 2. Scott currently mired in an 0-for-18 slump. He's won for his last 29 as well with 13 Ks. 2-0 pitch. Popped up, foul out of play, 2-1.
He'd be a tough guy to double up, too. 17 stolen bases already for him this season.
Yeah, you'd have to get a ground ball basically to the second base bag to think about doubling up Scott. 2-1. Lifted out to left field. Big claps from behind the plate for Kirk as Schneider runs into it and makes the catch in shallow left. 2 down.
Yeah, Kirk was really excited about that pitch there. He actually missed his spot by a decent amount there, trying to come in with the fastball, missed away, but a little weak fly ball out to left field. Davis Schneider with the catch for the second out of the inning.
Now a new baseball for Jose Berrios, so we can take a second to welcome you to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Hit a home run on your next home improvement for a great selection of renovation products and quality brands. Timber Mart has the bases loaded for a grand slam on every project. Batter up, Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Pitch to Lars Nootbaar. Slur for a strike, 0-1. 2-0 Blue Jays, 2 outs and a runner on first, bottom of the third. Nootbaar, a former USC Trojan, faces an 0-1. Pops it up. Near foul territory, third base side. Barger will cross the line and make the catch on the grass in foul territory to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, a single by Gorman. He's left on first, and the Blue Jays lead 2-0 after 3 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA Finals are here.
Everything Indiana does, Oklahoma City can say, we got one of those, and it's better.
Join the
What's up, baseball fans, Blue Jays fans from all over the world? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays game. Now's the time of the show for you to let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Let us know your city and province, city and state if you're in the USA, or let's see those international cities and flag emojis flying through the chat. As well as I want to see lots of Canadian flag chat. We are Canada's team. Toronto Blue Jays are Canada's team. Thank you for hanging out with us from all over the world. Please check out the link that is pinned in the chat as well as in our description. It's going to take you to our website. You can check out all of our cool merch, like our awesome 100K stuff and OG Insider stuff going away very soon. So get on it before it goes away. And let us know where you're watching from on our live viewers tab. There you'll see where everyone else is hanging out with us all season long, whether it's the Blue Jays or the Playoff Pulse campaign, or anybody who's visited from all over the world. Thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, the middle of the night, wherever it is, where you're watching from. Now let's get back to the baseball. Let's go, Blue Jays. Come on, boys. Let's make a playoff push. Cheers.
87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ernie Clement digging in for the Blue Jays. 2-0 Toronto, top of the fourth. Andre Palante winds and delivers, and Clement takes a strike down the middle, 0-1. It's Fourth inning is presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 0-1 in the dirt. Andre Palante is looking to rebound off of his last start, and he's been solid so far, giving up a fair share of hits, but no long balls, so the Blue Jays limited to 2 runs on 6 hits. 1-1. Hit on the ground toward shortstop. Fielded there on the backhand side by Wynn, who snaps the throw to first. 1 out. He's a guy who naturally tends to give up a fair amount of hits because he pitches to contact a lot. And that burned him in his last start against the Royals. He went into the 5th inning of that start with a 7-2 lead over the Royals. And then he gave up 5 runs in that 5th on a homer, 4 singles. 2 runs would come in after he was taken out. Pitch to Jonathan Clase is hit on the ground to second base. Vacuumed up, Brendan Donovan throws to first. 2 down. And 3 of those 4 singles that he gave up were ground ball singles, and at least one of them really soft. So he can kind of go sometimes as the baseball gods allow him to go, where the ground balls get hit.
Yeah, if you're a ground ball pitcher, you'll probably have 1 or 2 of those starts per year where you're just pulling your hair out, probably looking at the sky, saying a couple of expletives whenever things like that happen, giving up 4, 5, 6 hits in a row, just seemingly finding the hole.
First pitch to Bo Bichette misses low, ball 1.
And there's not many of those true ground ball pitchers left in baseball.
No, and that's part of the reason why teams, I think, feel safer knowing that the pitcher has more control over whether he gets the outs or not. 1-0. Swing and a bouncing ball to short. Fielded by Wynn. Tosses over to first, and that's 3 groundouts, exactly as Palante drew it up in a perfect 4th inning. Middle of the 4th, Blue Jays 2, Cardinals nothing. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your Kevin Gossman t-shirt giveaway, presented by Ryobi. Free to the first 15,000 fans. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Every Friday home game is a City Connect Friday. And on this Friday, we shine. On June 20th, it's Pride Night presented by TD. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a cross-body bag. City Connect Fridays. Night mode. Lights up. Let's go.
Break 365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's Ernie Clement with the RBI single. 1-0 Toronto.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer today. Tom Young is our technical director. 2-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th. Leading off, Mason Wynn, the shortstop, takes a first pitch down and in for ball 1. Mason Wynn, the second rounder by the Cardinals in 2020 out of a high school in the Houston area. 1-0. In the dirt, 2 balls, no strikes. Mentioned this a little earlier in the game, but he was drafted as a two-way player. Perhaps that's why he's got such a cannon from shortstop. But never really ended up pitching. Pitched 1 time professionally. 2-0. Lifted out towards center field. Moving back and toward right center, Jonathan Clase makes an underhanded catch and a jog, and there's 1 out.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. It's the return of the Big Cluckin' Deal. All-you-can-eat wings are on now for a limited time. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
Stanley Cup Finals Game 3 going on right now from Sunrise, Florida. It's a tied series at 1-1, but it's not a tie game. Panthers are leading 1-0. Berrios to Brendan Donovan. Outside, ball 1. 1-0 Panthers in the middle of the first inning. Chris's favorite player, Brad Marchand, scored 56 seconds into the first period.
Well, I used to like him because I thought he was from Quebec.
1-0 pitch lifted toward left field. Near the foul line, Davis Schneider coming in on the side. Warning track makes the catch right in front of a pole that holds up the netting to protect the fans. Tougher play than maybe it looked. 2 down.
How about that? Just dancing around that short wall out there in foul territory. Like you said, there's a pole there too. A really nice play by him. You could see him peeking down, looking at that pole a couple of times, but maintaining enough focus on that ball to make the catch.
This is Schneider's first ever time playing here. He was not with the Blue Jays when they went to St. Louis to start the 2023 season. But yeah, Brad Marchand is from Nova Scotia.
There you go.
Pitch to Wilson Contreras. Called a strike. So it's 1-0 Panthers over the Oilers. That one midway through the first period. Contreras walked in the second inning. So no official at-bats yet. Right-handed hitter having a very nice season. 0-1. Slurve went in there at 63 miles an hour. He threw that sidearm like I've never seen before. That was the weirdest pitch I've ever seen him throw. It's 1-1.
I'm wondering if him and Alejandro Kirk got crossed up.
1-1 offering is a more true slurve that missed inside. That one was 83. The one before was 63. It's 2-1.
That was a real strange one. I really don't have a reason for why he did that. And it seemed like Alejandro Kirk was ready for it too.
2-1. Sinker hits the outside edge. 2-2. Two 2-0 ball game in favor of the Blue Jays. 2 outs and the bases empty. Bottom of the 4th. Barrios offers home. Bounce the changeup. Full count.
It actually wasn't a bad pitch. It looked like a strike at the bottom of the strike zone and then just dove way below that strike zone. Actually hit the dirt, but I love that right-on-right changeup. Jose Berrios has been throwing it a little bit more recently.
Contreras asks for time. Adjusts his batting gloves. First baseman is batting .250 on the year, 14 doubles and 7 homers. He's driven in 38. Payoff pitch. Fastball just inside. He'll take a second walk today and a second big bat flip. I think Berrios is even chuckling at the bat flip. Contreras on first with 2 down.
Well, I think he was chuckling at the bat flip, but also the call from Dan Bellino. I think he thought that pitch was a strike, and we're getting the replay now. I know the strike box isn't 100% correct, but it did clip the inside part of that strike box.
Yeah, I think to me that's a 50-50 pitch. It's not a bad call, really, whether you call it a ball or a strike. First pitch to Ivan Herrera, called a strike, 0-1.
I think it's one of those calls where no matter what call you make, you're wrong.
Right, someone's going to be mad at you. Wide open stance for Herrera. Lead foot on the outside chalk as the 0-1 misses down and away. Berrios talking to himself after pulling that slurve way wide. It's 1-1. Herrera mostly a DH this year when he's been healthy for the Cardinals. This is his 11th started catcher. Takes outside 2-1. He was actually the starting catcher to begin the year. Caught most of the first 6-7 games. Then got injured. Came back, and Pedro Pajes had impressed so much at catcher. But Herrera was hitting so well that they got Herrera in as a DH with Pajes catching most nights. 2-1. Inside, ball 3. The former Cardinal catcher, now first baseman, Wilson Contreras on first. Herrera at the plate, 2-0 Blue Jays, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Berrios deals home. And it's hit off the handle, looped out to shallow right and down for a base hit. Charging it, George Springer fumbles it in shallow right, taken off for third. Contreras, and the throw not in time. Up to third goes Wilson Contreras on what might be an error on George Springer. First and third for the Cardinals now with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch and a tough result for Jose Berrios. It was a good sinker on the inside part of the plate, even off the plate inside. But Herrera does a good job getting the bat to it. I think he got jammed, but he got enough of it just to dump it out in front of George Springer.
They will charge Springer with an error. He made the right play charging it hard, and if he fielded it clean, it would have prevented Contreras from getting to third. But because he bobbled it, it enabled Contreras to get to third. So runners on the corners and 2 down. That'll prompt Alejandro Kirk to walk out to the hill for a moment. He's turned back now as the Blue Jays try and figure out Nolan Arenado. First, Kirk turns around to his infield, giving signals to the defense in case they think about running here. I wouldn't say it's likely that they run with their catcher on first and former catcher on third, but it's possible. Each does have a stolen base so far this year. Pitch to Nolan Arenado. Fastball for a strike.
That was actually a really good mound visit from Alejandro Kirk. This is probably the biggest situation in the ballgame that Jose Berrios would face. You go out there, you really figure out a game plan for Nolan Arenado, and both of you guys are on the same page.
0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. It has not been a typical Nolan Arenado year. Entered today hitting .237 with an OPS below 700. At the same time, he just had a walk-off hit against the Dodgers. He's got more cachet than anyone on this roster. 1-1. Swing and a liner caught at short. Ernie Clement. Arenado tattooed it, but to the absolute wrong spot, and that line out makes it a scoreless bottom of the 4th. No runs on a hit, 1 error, 2 left, and it's 2-0 Blue Jays after 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Songs that make dads not.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you! Thank you for hanging out with us today during the Toronto Blue Jays game and making a difference in our Toronto community. Every single view, just by being here, you're making a difference. And now that we've gotten your attention, please hit that subscribe button and help us grow this amazing community. We are over 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and I can't wait to take this plaque up to SickKids Hospital this summer, possibly a Blue Jays game as well. Maybe even TFC, because that's what we do here, all the Toronto sports. So welcome to everybody that's new. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button right now, and thank you to everyone who has hit that subscribe button along the way and allowed us to get these awesome awards from YouTube and keep this Toronto sports community going. Now let's get back to the baseball. Go Jays, go! We'll see you back in the chat.
Channel 156 and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
2-0 for the Blue Jays as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Blue Jays at Busch Stadium. Andre Palante deals to Vlad Guerrero, and the first pitch is inside, ball 1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth alongside former Marlin, Pirate, and Yankee. Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a grounder right side. Bobbled, but picked up by the first baseman Contreras, who's fit in very well over there in his first season at first. 1 out.
He was positioned perfectly, playing way off the line, almost in the hole on the right side of that infield. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit it right to him.
I think you'd probably forgive Contreras, a career catcher, if he didn't settle in right away to a new position. But the Cardinals have a very high standard in terms of fielding, and in fact, he's been an above-average first baseman, 2 defensive runs saved, and 4 outs above average. Pitch to Addison Barger. Curve called a strike. A lot of the offseason about the Cardinals, they didn't necessarily expect to compete, so they were clearing up spots for young guys. They let Paul Goldschmidt go. They were trying to trade Arenado. A 1 pitch, swing and a foul tip. 0-2. And they had a meeting with Contreras, and they said, hey, we got these young catchers, Ivan Herrera, Pedro Pajes. We can either try and move you, or you can think about moving positions if you want. And he said, I don't really want to move teams. I'd rather just try out first base if we have that open now that Goldschmidt is gone. 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I bet his knees are feeling a little bit better these days.
From the quotes I read, he seems to be quite happy to not be doing all of the extra work, the extra meetings that you have to do as a catcher. He can focus on his hitting. 1-2 pitch. Inside, 2-2.
It's really tough being a catcher during spring training because you see all the guys leaving to go play golf in the afternoon, but then you have to catch bullpens, you have to go do fielding work, you have to go to the batting cage. I'm sure he doesn't miss it.
No. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second time in a row that Palante has struck out Barger. It's Palante's 3rd strikeout of the start. He's cruising now. 2 down in the top of the 5th.
I tell you what, Palante's got really good stuff. That was a 12-6 knuckle curve. Again, getting Addison Barger out in front. You can see the frustration on his face, but that is a really, really good pitch.
Two outs, and the righty deals to Alejandro Kirk. Swing and a miss at 96, 0-1.
Almost like Kirk said, I'm doing it myself with that swing.
Kirk is 2 for 2 already with a single and a double. 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. If he hits a homer, we got to put Kirk on cycle watch. One offering. Outside, ball 2.
There'll have to be some wild things happening in the outfield for him to get a triple. Has he ever got a triple?
Good question. I don't think so. He does. He has 1. He hit it last year, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He did. One of the Molinas, and not Yadier, cycled. And they weren't quick. 2-1. Grounded up the middle of the diamond, cutting it off just behind the second base bag. Mason Wynn gathers and tosses to first to end the inning. Andre Palante has now retired 8 in a row. A 1-2-3 top of the 5th keeps it 2-0 Blue Jays at the middle of the 5th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
On PGA Tour Radio, everyone plays golf.
Peyton Manning with us.
I topped it on the first hole, hit a golf cart, made a birdie. That's really all I'm going to remember is a birdie. I'll forget about hitting the cart.
Aaron Rodgers in the building. Aaron, how we doing, fella?
Great now. We got that hole out of the way.
How'd you do?
I flared it to the right.
Oh,
just missed
my
the green.
God. Steph Curry with us.
I played in a Corn Ferry event. I've won the American Century in Tahoe in the summer, so I've had a blessed golf life.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
The football talk doesn't stop on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
They're mentally tough, they're physically tough, and they're talented.
Stay informed with the latest news around the National Football League, leading up to the training camp tour.
Got to practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Our experts are getting you ready for the 2025 season.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
There's a story for every team on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. Toronto leading St. Louis 2-0, bottom of the fifth. Jose Berrios has gone through 4 innings, allowing 2 singles and 2 walks. He's averaged 14 pitches a frame. His pitch count at 56 as he starts his 5th.
He's been good. He's been just as advertised. He's been very good in his last couple of starts, and it's really no different tonight. He's got the command of all his pitches.
Taking on a Cardinals team that just took 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Alec Burleson leads off for St. Louis. The pitch. Sinker just broke back over the plate for strike 1. Left-handed hitter Burleson comes into this game hot. 20-game stretch coming into tonight. 377 average. Next pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Part of this long-feeling lineup for the Cardinals. They don't necessarily have one guy or 2 guys that really stand out. 1 pitch popped up. In between second and first, Andres Jimenez calls for it. Makes the catch, backpedaling on the dirt. 1 out. For the Cardinals, the key is never giving you a break. They'll have quality at-bats really 1 through 9 rather than, hey, here's the Aaron Judge, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger pocket, just as an example.
So it's almost like having 9 Nathan Lucases in your lineup.
Well, I mean,
with a little bit more pop.
I was going to say, with all due respect to Nathan Lucas, they have a couple guys who are a little more middle-of-the-order hitters. First pitch to Nolan Gorman, misses inside, ball 1.
What I meant by that example is just the good at-bat.
Sure,
just
yes, okay, yeah.
You're standing out on that mound, and you're thinking to yourself, what do I need to throw here to make this guy swing and miss or put the ball in play and not foul it off?
1-0 pitch hit on the ground towards second. On to the right field grass. Jimenez has it, throws to first. 2 down now in the inning. Let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The Orioles and the Yankees are both off tonight, but the Rays and the Red Sox are starting a series tonight at Fenway Park, and it's a 3-3 ball game right now in a matchup of Brian Bayo and Shane Baz. Baz out of the game after 5 1/3, 3 earned runs. Bayo's allowed 3 in 6 innings, although only 2 of them are earned. 2 outs. The pitch to Victor Scott is bounced foul right side. 0-1. Rays got runs on an RBI single by Jake Mangum, RBI single by Brandon Lau, and Yandy Diaz with an RBI single. Connor Wong knocked in a run on a double play for the Red Sox. So 1 pitch hit on the ground to second. Busy inning for Jimenez. Picks it up, tosses to first just in time to get Victor Scott. I imagine, though, Ollie Marmol and the Cardinals are going to think about this one. For now, the Blue Jays walking off the diamond. And Ollie Marmol is not going to challenge. So Andres Jimenez, the Platinum Glover, gets it there just in time to beat the speedy Scott. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jose Berrios. We go to the 6th. 2-0 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Sometimes I feel a bit helpless with the state of the world, and it feels really hard to make an impact on people's lives. I donate because it makes me feel better to know that I can actually do something today to help people. Donating blood helps me feel like I'm making a difference in the world.
Canadian Blood Services. Experience what you get when you give. Book an appointment at blood.ca.
Bright sunshine day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the sixth, Blue Jays 2, Cardinals nothing. George Springer leads off and checks his swing on a pitch called a strike. A slider from Andre Palante that appeared outside. Not to Dan Bellino, though. It's 0-1.
I think George Springer agrees with you.
Yeah.
He took about 4 or 5 steps out of the box and took a deep breath.
0-1 pitch. Curve fouled back. Late swing by Springer. Sent it back into the screen first base side. 0-2. Springer today is 1 for 1. He doubled in the first, and he appeared to ground out in the third, but they ended up changing that to catcher's interference. 0-2 pitch. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think that's the third catcher's interference that has happened with Springer at the plate this year. Whether he stands deep in the box or his swing just goes back, he tends to draw those. The 1-2. Fouled away. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
It's funny. I'm assuming that there's some people out there that would say, well, that's probably George Springer's fault. There's something with the swing. There's something with what he's doing that's causing that. And I couldn't disagree more, just because.
1-2 pitch is hit on the ground toward third base. Backhanded Arenado, the 10-time Gold Glover, throws to first. And there's 1 out.
There's a scouting report on George Springer. Everybody in baseball knows that this has happened to him over the last, I don't know how many years of his career. There's something about his swing where he stands in the batter's box. So the catchers need to know that. They need to either stand further back or not reach out as far as they normally would. So, yeah.
1 out pitch to Andres Jimenez. Swing and a miss on a pitch that bounced in front of the plate. 0-1. It would be hard for me to imagine anyone, being able to do that on purpose, because it already takes so much focus and skill to hit the round baseball with the round bat coming at you at 95 miles an hour. 0-1. Swing and a grounder to second. Ranging to his left. Donovan has it. Pumps, throws on to first. 2 down.
Yeah, I didn't mean that he's doing it on purpose. I just meant that there's something with his swing, and maybe the bat comes through longer than other guys. Maybe he stands further back in the batter's box. Stuff like that. But there's no way that he's trying to do it on purpose. Like you said, it's such a quick thing that he couldn't possibly do that.
2 down, bases empty. Davis Schneider to hit. Palante has retired the last 10 Blue Jays he's faced. The pitch. Low ball 1. I only really said that because there was a catcher's interference earlier this year, and there might have been an article where the opposing team city's writer might have suggested that it was being done on purpose, and I just thought that was kind of a laughable concept, to be honest. 1-0 pitch outside, 2-0.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Barring a guy swinging basically after the ball is in the glove and hitting the glove, I just don't see how you could ever do that. 2-0 pitch to Schneider. Hooked on the ground, foul, 2-1.
And I think if we watched a replay of George Springer, there probably wouldn't be any difference in his swing. I think if he was trying to do it on purpose, it would be really noticeable.
Right. (2-1). Low ball 3. The catchers are reaching further out than they ever have before. A lot of them ripping up as they catch a ball near the bottom of the zone is often when their arm is extended. So much so Wilson Contreras broke his arm last year when his swing hit him flush in the forearm. 3-1 pitch outside, ball 4.
It's pretty good at bat from Davis Schneider. Took that last cutter off the plate. Sorry, that was a fastball that just kind of cut, but pretty good take from him just off the plate outside.
extends this inning and gives us an opportunity to take a quick peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. End of the first period in Sunrise, 2-0 for the Panthers. Carter Verhaeghe with a power play goal in the last couple minutes. First pitch to Ernie Clement is lifted out to right field. Moving back toward the track, it's caught by Burleson, who twisted to face the plate as he made the play, and that will end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. One left for the Blue Jays. Middle of the sixth, 2-0 Blue Jays over the Cardinals. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA Finals are on Sirius XM.
Behind the board, knocks down an 8-foot jumper. SGA has come to play tonight, baby.
It's MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder.
This dude is the best player in the league right now.
And Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers.
Halliburton unloads a three. Oh, that did not happen.
It's Game 3, Wednesday night at 8:30 Eastern on NBA Radio Channel 86. Hear the Pacers and Thunder announcers on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
The NBA Finals are here.
Oklahoma City has punched its ticket to its second ever league championship series.
And so is the Stanley Cup Final.
And the Florida Panthers are going to the Stanley Cup Final for the third year in a row.
Sports Grid Radio is the only place talking about the lines for each game and the odds to win it all.
I like over 5.5 games in both finals. Parlay together is plus 141.
Get the winning edge over the sports books on Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the Sirius XM app, then tell me to play the Blue Jays on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. Bottom of the sixth inning, Jose Berrios faces the top of the order third time through with the Blue Jays leading 2-0. His pitch to Lars Nootbaar. Outside, ball one.
We're in the bottom of the sixth inning with nobody out. And Jose Berrios has thrown 64 pitches in this ballgame.
Really impressive day for him. Only one strikeout. It's been a ton of ground balls. 1-0 pitch is popped up. Third base side foul. Barger jogging across the bag onto the side. Warning track makes the catch. And there's one out. A lot of news today coming down before today's game. It was about as packed of a John Schneider media availability as you will see. There's a lot of different places I could start, Chris. Is there any news or personnel in particular you'd like me to start with, or should I just
No, you just you do you. How about that?
Sure. Well, after yesterday's game, this might have slipped under the radar for some. Spencer Turnbull was activated by the Blue Jays, brought onto the Major League roster, pitched to Mason Wynn, down and away, ball one. Option to AAA was Paxton Schultz. Schneider said that Turnbull will provide length for them. He slides into kind of a Schultz-Lauer-ish kind of role. 1-0 pitch. Inside, ball two. He'll be a bit of a swing man. He might start sometimes where he might follow guys like Lauer sometimes. He said it's going to be very matchup dependent. 2-0. Popped up, foul behind home plate. Kirk takes off his mask, but watches it fall into the seats 2-1. And he didn't say this explicitly, but potentially a reason why he's not a traditional starter right away. He did say the ramp up went pretty quickly. 35 days ago, they signed him. And now they have him up, but they were happy he got up to 80 pitches in his last outing, so they felt like it was the time to bring him up. 2-1 pitch to Mason Wynn. Popped up. This one will be playable in between second and shallow center. Clase sprinting in, makes the catch. And there's two down. Wynn was upset, but he almost got a hit.
That's a scary situation. You have all three of those guys, the shortstop, the second baseman, and Jonathan Clase sprinting out at that ball into shallow center field, and Jonathan Clase comes up with it.
Good thing he's about as fast as Mason Wynn, so he could cover the ground to take the hit away from Wynn. 2 down, Brendan Donovan to hit for the Cardinals. 2-0 Blue Jays. We'll try to get us through as much of the notes as possible from before the game, before this inning comes to a close. First pitch to Donovan, called a strike. So they got him up to 80 pitches, and the one question he was asked actually about Turnbull as a pitcher, he said the stuff that stands out, the breaking balls, sweeper, curve, and when he's got the fastball low to mid-90s, touching 94, 95, makes the breaking balls that much better. 0-1 pitch outside, 1-1. With Turnbull up, some discussion turned to Bowden Francis, and they said for now, Francis is locked into the rotation and set to start against Philadelphia. 1-1 pitch popped up. Foul, and that one is going to go out of play into the seats 1-2. If you want to read between the lines a little, the words for now sometimes can mean that things can change, but the last word that we heard is that Bowden Francis will make the start in his next turn. Speaking of starters, Scherzer yesterday threw a 3-up 50-pitch simulated game that went very well, except for when Dalton Varsho stepped in and hit a homer off of him. Varsho was a part of the game. 1-2. Fouled back. Appreciate Brendan Donovan putting up this battle so we can get through the notes here. 2 out, space is empty, 2-0 Toronto. Scherzer is going to throw a pen in Florida either tomorrow or Wednesday, and then he's going to head to Buffalo, where he will make his first rehab start on Friday. Another 1-2 pitch. And another foul ball off to the left.
That couldn't have come at a better time.
Seriously.
No, I'm not talking about the foul ball. I'm talking about Max Scherzer.
I was too, but I could see it like it's lost in translation. They said they think probably 2 to 3 starts at Buffalo. He'll start with something like a 65 pitch outing on Friday. 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. If he can get to 75, 80 in his second outing and things are going well and he's feeling good, maybe then he comes up. If not, probably a third to get up to 80, maybe 85, and then come up after that. Six-pitch battle so far. Berrios to Donovan, and it's lined into right field and down for a base hit. Good at-bats like that are why Brendan Donovan is hitting well above 310 so far this season. He's aboard with 2 outs.
It's a pretty good swing on a tough pitch. It was a changeup down outside of the strike zone, and Brendan Donovan just drops that barrel, goes down and gets it, and rips that ball into right field.
Donovan extends the inning. 2 outs, runner on first. Wilson Contreras sub, who hasn't taken the bat off his shoulder. He's walked twice so far today. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a slurve outside, 0-1.
Spencer Turnbull actually had a really nice season last season. 3-0 with a 2.65 ERA. 17 games, 7 starts, 54 and a third innings.
Recently, the only thing that's gotten in his way is health. 0-1. Wicked sinker, broke back over the plate, called a strike, 0-2.
Did you see his record in 2019 though?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
3-17.
For the Tigers?
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a break.
It wasn't a bad season. Yeah. He had a 4.5 ERA, but 3-17.
0-2. Upstairs, Contreras tossed the bat away on a check swing. It didn't hit him, and he's not close to walking, but he just enjoys tossing the bat. So it's 1-2.
Everything is always so animated with him, whether he's walking, whether he almost gets hit.
Older brother of Brewers catcher William Contreras. One-two pitch. Lifted out to center field. Clase hard charging, slows up, makes the catch with one hand to end the inning. Another scoreless frame for Jose Berrios. No runs on a hit, 1 left for the Cardinals. 2-0 Blue Jays through 6. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond.
Hey Insiders, thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Cardinals and the Blue Jays.
Much appreciated. We're having a good time here in the chat already. And I just wanted to remind you that we are live tonight doing what we do best. Hanging out together, changing the world one insider at a time for the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Game 3. Pop on over in the chat over there. Say what's up. Chat it up with the rest of the world. And let's have some fun tonight. Staying up to date on our current events. The Blue Jays and the Cardinals. The Stanley Cup Finals. Come on, Canada. Let's go, Oilers. We appreciate you being here. Please hit the like button. Share this link out to your friends. Let's get more baseball fans and hockey fans here to our awesome community where we're raising money for SickKids Hospital every single game. A huge donation incoming for the next month of Playoff Pulse games and hangouts that we've had here on Toronto Sports Insider. And we thank you for being here. Please check that link that's pinned in the chat. That's going to take you to our homepage with SickKids, and you will see our progress so far. Cheers, everybody. Go Blue Jays, go. Go Oilers, go. We'll see you in the chat.
Center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bichette powers the ball to left field. Going back, Peralta. It's out of here.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning, and it's a pitcher's duel at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Andre Pallante still on the hill. 2-0 Blue Jays. Pitch to Jonathan Clase, bunted toward third. Bare hand play, Arenado. Throw to first, not in time. Arenado couldn't have played it better. One of the best third basemen maybe the game has ever seen, but the speed of Clase beat it out for now. We'll see if Ollie Marmol wants to take a look.
Well, Nolan Arenado has 10 gold gloves at third base. And there's probably not another third baseman in the game right now that could have even made that play and almost gotten Jonathan Clase at first base. What an attempt.
It was a good bunt by Clase. Arenado had to barehand and throw in one motion. And they will not challenge, but they will make a pitching change. The bunt hit will be the last pitch Pallante throws today. It's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. As the Cardinals dig into their bullpen, we'll go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We should get an extra read for St. Louis reads when they're playing in St. Louis. I'm just saying. All right, the Stanley Cup Final is finally underway. We got a pair of thrillers to start. Game 1, a 4-3 OT win, courtesy of Leon Draisaitl. Game 2 was a 5-4 double OT winner, courtesy of Brad Marchand. So this series entered play tonight, tied at 1 game apiece. Game 2, 3 on right now, and a quick start for the third straight game. Marchand, the one to open the scoring in this game, 56 seconds in. And then with about 2 minutes left in the first period, Carter Verhaeghe doubling the lead with a rip over Stuart Skinner's shoulder on the power play. It's 2-0 Florida. There were 7 penalties in the first period, so we'll see if that continues. Panthers are also 10-2 so far this postseason when scoring first. We'll see if that also holds tonight. Either way, this game is in the first period intermission, about halfway through. You can watch it when it does resume on Sportsnet and the CBC. Also some award news as well. Star forward Nikita Kucherov was named the winner of the Ted Lindsay Award, presented by the NHLPA to the quote-unquote most outstanding player in the NHL as voted on by members of the NHLPA as opposed to the media, for example. The second time, Kucherov has won the award, first time coming back in 2018-19. This season, he led the NHL with 121 points in 78 games. And, of course, he also won the Art Ross as the league leader in points. Also, our Washington Capitals head coach Spencer Carberry announces the Jack Adams winner, awarded to the most outstanding head coach in a given year. The runaway winner, earning 81 first-place votes on 103 ballots cast. The fourth Capitals head coach to win the award after Brian Murray, Bruce Boudreau, and Barry Trotz. Blue Jays baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the action we go. Here are Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. Riley O'Brien on the hill. Righty reliever deals to Bo Bichette, and the first pitch hit foul off of Bichette's leg. I think the backswing might have got the catcher Herrera. It's 0-1. Riley O'Brien called up today. Corresponding move as the former Blue Jay farmhand Matt Swanson went down. For O'Brien, his 5th appearance of the season. Righty's 0-1 to Bichette. No, he steps off, checks on first where Jonathan Clase is. Clase dove back in safe. Just before the pitching change, Jonathan Clase came up with a bunt hit, snapped an 0 for 16 for the switch hitter. O'Brien, the righty, with a 6.23 ERA and 4 1/3 innings. The pitch, Clase takes off, and it's lined right side and caught at first base. Step on the bag from Contreras, and there are 2 down.
Well, how about that? That is just some bad luck. Jonathan Clase had that bag stolen. Bo Bichette ripped it the other way right at Wilson Contreras at first base for probably the easiest double play you'll see.
The liner practically brought him to the bag. So that closes the line on Palante's day. A very nice day for the Cardinals starter. And now 2 outs and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up. O'Brien kicks and deals. First pitch slider, strike 1. Big stuff for Riley O'Brien. A sinker that averages 98. Curveball in the low 80s and a slider that sits around 90 miles per hour. 0-1. And he almost hit him in the head with a 99 mile per hour sinker. A look out, a long look from Vlad, and I don't blame him. That was a dangerous pitch from the righty O'Brien.
Yeah, that's never comfortable when you get a fastball. It doesn't matter if it's 90, 95, 99 miles an hour. Whizzing right by your chin is never fun. Wow, that was really close to Vladimir Guerrero's head. You can understand why he's staring out at O'Brien.
We couldn't see, but I could imagine the Blue Jays dugout having some choice words out to the mound right now, even though he didn't do it on purpose. 1-1. High, ball 2. 2-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs and the bases empty, top of the 7th. Vladdy is 0 for 3 today. 2 ground outs and a fly out to center. The 2-1. Chopped very high toward third base, waiting on it. Arenado, bare hands, tosses to first, not in time. It pulled Contreras off the bag. High throw from Arenado. Don't see that all that often, although he had to make a quick play, so Guerrero is safe.
Yeah, that was going to be a really tough play. Arenado does a great job barehanding that baseball, but like you said, the rare throw takes Wilson Contreras off the bag. By what, about 2 feet? Took him off the bag by about 2 feet. Not a terrible throw from Nolan Arenado, but not a throw you see every day from him.
Contreras still learning the spot. I think there's a chance he could have stayed down and kind of went lead foot up and caught that ball, but he wanted to be safe. Vladdy gets an infield single for it, and now the pitch to Addison Barger misses low, ball 1. By the way, we can go quickly to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Good talk in the dressing room for the Oilers, because early on in the second period, Corey Perry has scored, and it's 2-1 now for the Panthers in the second period. 1-0 to Barger, ball to strike.
If you look at O'Brien's career numbers, not that much time in the big leagues, 14 2/3 innings, but he has 14 career walks. Maybe that'll paint a bigger picture of why that fastball came running right by Vlad's head.
1-1. Swing and a grounder hit right to the shortstop win. He'll pick it up, go to the second base bag to end the inning. 2-0. The Blue Jays lead the Cardinals, middle of the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Decking isn't just about wood. It's about creating the perfect outdoor retreat, and it all begins with the right materials. Essentials you always find at Trex, the leader in composite decking for over 30 years. Sustainable, durable, beautiful. Trex isn't just decking, it's a lifestyle. From homeowners to pros, everyone knows Trex delivers unmatched quality. Ready to transform your backyard into a dream space? Find Trex at Timbermark, Canada's building center, where your outdoor vision comes to life.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Sometimes I feel a bit helpless with the state of the world, and it feels really hard to make an impact on people's lives. I donate because it makes me feel better to know that I can actually do something today to help people. Donating blood helps me feel like I'm making a difference in the world.
Canadian Blood Services. Experience what you get when you give. Book an appointment at blood.ca.
Bright sunshine day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Bottom of the 7th inning, Blue Jays 2 and the Cardinals nothing. Jose Berrios back out on the hill, and why wouldn't he be? Only 80 pitches in 6 scoreless so far for the Puerto Rican right-hander. This inning, he will take on 5, 6, 7 in the Cardinals order. Ivan Herrera, Nolan Arenado, and Alec Burleson to bat for St. Louis. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, and Tom Young, our technical director. Pitch to Ivan Herrera. Low ball 1. Herrera 1 for 2 today. He hit a single to right field with 2 outs in the 4th inning. One of 3 hits for the Cardinals today, all singles. 1-0. Swing and a miss.
Herrera's hitting .319 now with 6 home runs. Really tough hitter.
Had a huge start to his season, including a 3-homer game early on. Hit that against the Angels on April 2nd. 1-1. Grounded toward third base. Picked up by Barger. Whips it over to first. 1 out.
Do you think opposing teams are saying that when Tyler Heineman comes to the plate? They're like, man, this guy's hitting .429. What a stud.
You know, a little more sample before this year for Heineman. But I imagine it's not in the scouting report anymore like, hey, this guy's the catcher and 9-hitter in the backup, so we're just going to throw him strikes. I don't think they can say that when you're hitting .420-something. 1 out, and Nolan Arenado up. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Let's go back over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Quick response from the Florida Panthers. Sam Reinhart scores. 3-1 for the Panthers over the Oilers. 16 minutes to go in the second. 1-0 pitch. Golfed out to right by Arenado. A stutter step from Springer. And now he keeps coming in to make the catch. And there are 2 down.
Jose Berrios just got the second out of the inning here in the bottom of the 7th. He's still at only 85 pitches.
5 pitches in the inning.
Let's say hypothetically, let's say he gets Burleson on 2 pitches. Does he come back out for the 8th?
I would think so. Blue Jays pen worked a lot in the last series, and it would be the bottom of the order starting next inning. First pitch to Burleson, down and away, ball 1. Burleson's the 7-hitter, so Gorman, Scott, and then Nootbaar would be due up if the inning ends here. 1-0 count, 2 outs, base is empty. Berrios looking in, rocks and deals. Slur for a strike. He's had everything working today. All different parts of the zone. 2 of the 3 hits have come with 2 outs. The walks have been in full counts to a really good hitter in Wilson Contreras. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. And this has been a close to perfect outing so far for Berrios.
I mean, if you go back to his last 2 starts, he's only given up 1 earned run in his last 19 innings pitched.
Berrios set at the bell. His 1-2. Lined out to right field, down for a base hit. Hugging the foul line, it's cut off in the corner by Springer. Burleson trying for second. The throw bounces in, not in time. A slide into second, and the first extra base hit of the day for Burleson, who makes wings like a bird back to his dugout. He's aboard second with 2 down.
Little Angels in the outfield action out there at second base, but George Springer does a good job getting to this baseball, cutting it off. Almost getting that runner at second base, but this is a big at-bat coming up with 2 outs, tying run at the plate.
And that will be the day for Berrios. They did have Brendan Little up, and now that the tying run's coming up, plus a runner in scoring position, Blue Jays will make a pitching change. Brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. A great 6 2/3 from the Blue Jays starter Jose Berrios, and as Brendan Little comes in, we go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks, guys. Let's continue checking in on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We checked in on Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final earlier. So it was 2-0 Panthers after one period. Marchand and Verhaeghe both scoring in the first. Corey Perry scoring very quickly to start the second. 2-1 Panthers. And then just moments ago, Sam Reinhart, who's been very quiet lately, actually, scoring to restore that 2-goal lead. So 3-1 Panthers is where we sit right now with about 12 minutes left in the second period. You can watch it on Sportsnet and the CBC. Over in the NBA, the finals got underway the other night with a real bang. The Pacers taking Game 1 with a literal last-second shot made by Tyrese Halliburton. Game 2 was last night. It was not nearly as close. The Thunder blew away the Pacers 123-107 in Game 2 to even the series at 1 game apiece. League MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring 34 points in the win. Alex Caruso at 20 off the bench. Jalen Williams had 19 in the win as well. Halliburton had 17 points for Indiana, who never really threatened in this game, but either way, Game 3 will be in Indianapolis on Wednesday, and what will be the first finals game in that city in 25 years. And another quick check on Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. 4-1 Florida right now, as Sam Bennett has scored just seconds ago. So there you go. You can watch that on Sportsnet and the CBC. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. A couple of switches for the Blue Jays. The pitching change to Brendan Little, and then Ollie Marmol counters. He doesn't want a left-on-left matchup, so he'll lift Nolan Gorman. And coming in as a pinch hitter is the right-handed hitter recently recalled, Ryan Vilade.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Brendan Little is throwing strikes, if he's pounding that strike zone, it doesn't matter if you're left-handed, right-handed. It is a very, very tough matchup. That ERA, even with that tough outing in his last outing, now sits at 1.55.
Little threw 40 pitches in an inning in the opener against the Twins, but kept the Blue Jays in front in that outing. Runner on second, 2 down, and the first pitch is called a strike, a backdoor sinker. Two 2-0 Blue Jays. Alec Burleson on second after his double off Berrios. Ryan Vilade playing in his 7th game of the year. He's 1 for 11 on the season, and he swings and misses at a curve that bounced in front of the plate. Blocked by Kirk to keep Burleson at second, 2 down.
And those are the swings that you see against Brendan Little. When he's throwing strikes, he can mix in that breaking ball that bounces in front of the plate, and a lot of the time you'll see a swing and a miss on that pitch. I mean, that's nowhere near the strike zone.
Long-haired right-handed hitter Vilade faces an 0-2 and swings and misses at a curve in the dirt. Strike 3. Kirk inside fair territory, throws down to first to complete the strikeout and end the inning. Brendan Little gets out of the inning in 3 pitches, striking out Ryan Vilade to strand Alec Burleson on second base. No runs on a hit. 1 left for the Cardinals, and as we go to the 8th, Blue Jays 2, Cardinals nothing. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's 24 hours of Le Mans,
and you can hear every thrilling moment on Sirius XM.
Side by side for the lead of the race, and Ferrari goes through.
For over 100 years, it's been one of motorsport's most prestigious and grueling tests of speed and endurance. We're bringing all 24 hours to you live as drivers and teams from around the world battle it out for one of the biggest prizes in racing. 24 hours of Le Mans, starting Saturday morning at 10 Eastern on Sirius 137 XM 202.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back.
It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Top of the 8th, 2-0 Blue Jays. Still Riley O'Brien for the Cardinals. He'll miss inside for ball one to Alejandro Kirk. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Blue Jays scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second. And then thanks to 6 2/3 scoreless from Jose Berrios, they've kept the lead since. 1-0 pitch, hit foul off to the right, 1-1.
You know what would be nice, though, Ben?
Insurance.
Another run. Makes pitching late in ball games a heck of a lot easier.
Kirk has had a good offensive day, a single and a double. He's 2 for 3. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Kirk's obviously hitting for the high average, as has been talked about a lot, 309. Sometimes he can get on rolls where it's poking a ground ball through the right side, flipping it over the second baseman. But this has not been one of those runs. It has not been a lot of bloops or softer hits for Alejandro Kirk. 1-2. Check swing on a pitch low. Peel down to first base, no swing, 2-2. If you go from May 1st to now, Alejandro Kirk has a 62% hard hit rate. That's balls hit 95 miles an hour or harder. That's best in the majors. More than Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani. 2-2, down and away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And, you look at those 3 guys in a line, you're not going to say this guy's been hitting the ball the hardest since May 1st. But Kirk has really figured it out.
Another ridiculous stat is with 2 strikes, Alejandro Kirk is hitting .340.
3-2 is hit well. Center field. Going back, Scott onto the warning track. Leaps. It's off his glove and over the fence. Home run out to the lawn in center field for Alejandro Kirk. A solo shot that makes it 3-0 Blue Jays in the 8th.
And how about that? A 2-strike home run. I don't know if that would have gotten out if Victor Scott didn't hit that out, but that is a great approach. And a great hitter. He is doing all kinds of great things right now with the bat. That's just another good swing from Alejandro Kirk.
His 4th home run of the season. We're getting a second look now. I don't know if that gets out, if not for Scott's deflection.
Kirk will take it.
It might have. I'm not going to say for sure it wouldn't have, as Springer swings at the first pitch, grounds it to second. Donovan flips over to first, 1 out.
Anyways, back to Kirk hitting .340. With 2 strikes. Do you know what the league average is? You might know what the league average is.
I'm going to guess it's in the 100s.
170.
Yeah.
That's so absurd.
He's double the league average.
That is absurd.
And it's not that early in the season anymore. He's done this over a 66-game stretch. We got a couple more replay looks, by the way. I'm still not sure if that would have or would have not gone out. First pitch to Andres Jimenez, misses down and away, ball 1. It was a tough play for Scott, though. I don't think that it wasn't exactly the ball hits Jose Canseco in the head and goes over. He was running back to make what would have been a spectacular catch. 1-1 pitch hit foul off to the left, 1-2. So I do feel for a young player in Victor Scott on that play.
I mean, we've seen 4 or 5 replays now, and I still don't know if that ball's going out if he doesn't hit it. That tells you how close it was.
1-1 pitch is lined to left field, a base hit for Andres Jimenez. Second hit of the inning for the Blue Jays, and now their 10th hit on the day.
That's a pretty good approach. Andres Jimenez continues to swing the bat pretty well since he came off the IL. It was a slider over the middle of the plate, just a spinner from O'Brien, and Jimenez hammered that thing the other way.
Second inning of work for Riley O'Brien, who gave up 2 hits, both in the infield last inning, but did not allow a run. He did benefit from a line-out double play. 2 hits allowed this inning. The Blue Jays have scored, and they're threatening again with a good base stealer and Andres Jimenez on first and 1 out.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to take off here, especially with one out. You want to get into scoring position. Maybe Nathan Lucas can hit you in.
Lucas in as a pinch hitter for Davis Schneider. Right on left, the pitch. Called a strike, 0-1. Schneider ends his day 0 for 2 with a walk. This is probably a twofold substitution. You get a lefty in to hit against the righty, and you're leading late. You might have put in Lucas defensively for Schneider anyway. A 1 pitch. Outside at 99 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. Blue Jays also have Miles Straw, Alan Roden, and Tyler Heineman waiting in the dugout. 1-1. Chopped towards second base. Fielded high by Donovan. Backhanded flip to second. 1. Tossed to first in time. Double play. 4-6-3. The Cardinals turn it, erasing the 1-out single of Andres Jimenez. But Alejandro Kirk leaves the yard off the tip of the glove from Victor Scott. A home run to dead center. His 4th of the season. And the Blue Jays extend their lead to 3-0, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Sometimes I feel a bit helpless with the state of the world, and it feels really hard to make an impact on people's lives. I donate because it makes me feel better to know that I can actually do something today to help people. Donating blood helps me feel like I'm making a difference in the world.
Canadian Blood Services. Experience what you get when you give. Book an appointment at blood.ca.
Bright sunshine day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field. To the wall, to the track. It's gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Brendan Little in the bottom of the 8th inning deals a pitch home to Victor Scott. It misses down and away, ball 1. Back underway, the Blue Jays at Busch Stadium, leading the Cardinals 3-0. Little set at the belt and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 9-1-2 for the Cardinals. Scott, Nootbaar, and Wynn. Victor Scott's 0 for 2 today, a fly out and a ground out. 1-1 pitch down and away, 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We'll take a look at the Bet365 standings in a moment. 2-1 pitch. Inside, ball 3. Standings are brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app, find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 3-1 called a strike, probably missed down and away. Scott not happy about it. It's a full count.
That's all Kirk back there. That's all Kirk just framing that pitch. That wasn't a strike. Good job from him.
Payoff pitch. Fouled off of the front foot by the left-handed hitting Scott. By StatCast's framing metric, Kirk is the best in baseball. And typically he has done best on pitches at the bottom or below the bottom of the zone, like that called second strike. 3-2. Fouled away. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And he's being really active back there. More active than I usually see him with Brendan Little. He's using both of his hands, telling Brendan Little, hey, throw the baseball right in the middle of the strike zone. Don't try to pick around the corners. Don't nibble. Just throw that thing right down the middle. Let it work.
Another payoff pitch. Called inside, probably had the zone, but it's ball 4, so I guess the call's even out. Let's take a look at those Bet365 standings. No changes so far today because we don't have a final yet in the Rays-Red Sox game, and the Orioles and Yankees are both off today. Yankees are 39-25. Blue Jays and Rays both 4.5 behind at 35 and 30. Red Sox are 32-35, 8.5 back. And the Orioles 26 and 38, 13 back. Pitch to Lars Nootbaar. Down and away, ball 1. 3-0. The Blue Jays leading the Cardinals. Runner on first. And Scott has a ton of speed. 17 stolen bases this year. 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, I think it's important, if you're Brendan Little specifically, don't focus on that runner at first base. You have a 3-run lead. You have to throw strikes. He's falling behind 2-0, so it's really important that you focus on that hitter right now.
Little's pitch. At the bottom of the zone, strike 1.
It's a good pitch right there. Now you can go to work. You've thrown a strike in this at-bat. It's a 2-1 count. Now you can really throw whatever you want. Probably just throw a fastball in there.
Pitch to Nootbaar. In the dirt with the fastball. 3 balls and 1 strike. Little shaking his head a little bit. We saw some of these struggles in his last outing. He was about even in terms of balls and strikes in the around 40 pitch outing against the Twins. His 3-1. Called a strike, 3-2. It's been all sinkers in the 5 pitches he's thrown to Nootbaar. Nootbaar has not swung the bat yet.
Well, you can see Nootbaar is being very, very patient. He knows the scouting report. Those Cardinals guys know that he struggles throwing strikes.
3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Nootbaar stumbles to the ground after whiffing on a sinker inside. 1 out.
Nootbaar helped him out a little bit. That was a ball on the inside part, in off the plate. That's a big out for Brendan Little, who's still struggling to throw strikes just a little bit in this outing.
They were actually trying to go to the outer half with that pitch, but it works out anyway. Here's Mason Wynn. First right-handed hitter. Little faces this inning, and the pitch is outside, ball 1. 3-0 Blue Jays. Victor Scott the second on first. 1 out, bottom of the 8th. The 1-0. Lined out to left field, down for a base hit. One hops into the glove of Lucas, who just took over in left field after coming in to hit for Davis Schneider. Up to second base goes Scott, and the tying run will come to the plate.
Now you really have to bear down. The tying run is in that batter's box right now. You have runners on first and second and just 1 out. Brendan Donovan's a very, very good hitter coming into this ball game. He was at 317. So you have to make good pitches. You have to throw strikes in this at-bat. Might want to mix in a knuckle curve as well.
4 homers on the year for Brendan Donovan. He's 1 for 3 today. The pitch. Curveball in the dirt, ball 1. Little just threw his 20th pitch, and after Donovan, a string of 3 straight right-handed hitters. So potentially another move coming. Haven't gotten a look at the Blue Jay pen in a while, but can imagine someone might be throwing. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1.
I would imagine it's potentially going to be Yariel Rodriguez. If I was John Schneider, I would be thinking about bringing him into this ball game, especially the way Brendan Little looks right now.
1-1. Chopped on the ground, foul. He's ahead of Donovan, 1-2. Donovan, a much more likely double play candidate than either of the 2 guys that are on base right now. 1-2 pitch in the dirt, blocked off the chest by Kirk. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brendan Donovan's got 35th percentile sprint speed, so he's just outside of that bottom third of runners in the majors. Left on left with 2 on and 1 out. 2-2 count, bottom 8. Little looks back, deals home. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on a curve in the dirt. Donovan not allowed to advance with first base occupied. And there are 2 down.
That's a big strikeout. Brendan Little has the type of stuff that he can get himself out of any situation. A tough situation there. First and second and 1 out. And a big strikeout there against a very tough hitter.
Even with the strikeout, the string of righties coming up and already 24 pitches for Little. So the Blue Jays will go to their bullpen. It's pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Yariel Rodriguez about to enter with the tying run coming up. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th, 3-0 Blue Jays. Let's go back to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's continue checking on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Let's go back to the Stanley Cup Final. Game 3 on right now. Of course, the series tied at 1 game apiece entering play tonight. Panthers right now enjoying a 4-1 lead with a couple minutes to go in the second period. Florida getting goals from Marchand, Verhaeghe, Reinhart, and Bennett. For Sam Bennett, his 14th goal of these playoffs, which, as you might imagine, leads all playoff teams. Corey Perry has the lone goal for the Oilers. That actually gives him a 5-game point streak in these playoffs for the 40-year-old. 6 total points with 4 goals in there. Either way, you can watch this game on Sportsnet and the CBC. And some retirement news came down the pipeline today. TJ Oshie announcing his retirement at a fan event. He played 16 seasons in the NHL, though had not played this past season due to a back injury. It was the last year of an 8-year, $46 million contract he had signed back in 2017. And he retires with 695 points in just over 1,000 regular season games, 1,010 regular season games, 302 goals scored. And, of course, he retires an NHL champion, having won the Stanley Cup with the Washington Capitals back in 2018. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action with the call. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Getting ready for his 26th appearance of the season, the Cuban right-hander Yariel Rodriguez enters the game. He's got a .261 earned run average and a whip below 1. Rodriguez is coming into a huge spot, though. First and second, 2 outs, 3-0 Blue Jays. The powerful Wilson Contreras will step in, representing the tying run.
Well, you have to be careful on this first pitch. I'm sure Wilson Contreras is hunting fastballs here. He's going to try to ambush Yariel Rodriguez. It'd be good to throw a strike with something off speed.
159 career home runs for Wilson Contreras, who's put together 5 different 20-homer seasons. Right on right, Rodriguez looks to second and deals home. Slider outside, ball 1.
That's a good pitch. Even though he didn't throw a strike, you know that Wilson Contreras is looking for something hard in that situation, something he can drive over that fence.
Contreras with big bat speed, swings faster than Vlad, Addison Barger. 1-0 pitch is shot down the right field line, a base hit. Hugging the line, bouncing near the corner. Coming around third and in to score Victor Scott. Around third, but stopping is Mason Wynn. And at first base, Contreras turns back to his dugout with a clap. It's an RBI single to get the Cardinals on the board. It's now 3-1 for the Blue Jays over the Cardinals after the 8th inning RBI single by Wilson Contreras.
Well, the most important thing about that play was George Springer got to that baseball really quickly. Wilson Contreras wasn't able to get to second base, so with 2 outs in this inning, he is still not in scoring position. A base hit will not score him. That might be an important part of this ballgame.
Also kept the lead runner Wynn at third. Runners on the corners, 2 down. Life back in the ballpark at Busch Stadium, in the pitch to Ivan Herrera. High and outside, ball 1. That run will be charged to Brendan Little, by the way, who's still responsible for Mason Wynn on third. Little punched out 2, but also allowed a hit and a walk this inning. 1-0. Swing and a high fly ball down the left field line, hooking near the corner. It's gone. just snuck over the fence near the foul pole. A 3-run go-ahead blast for the Cardinals, who lead for the first time today.
Well, that's a good swing right there on a backup breaking ball. It was a hanging slider on the inner third from Yariel Rodriguez, and I mean, that's just a really good swing from Ivan Herrera.
It had been a long time since Yariel Rodriguez had allowed a run of his own. And the Cardinals break that streak in a big way. For Ivan Herrera, his 7th of the year, and after they trailed 3-0 going into the 8th, the Cardinals lead 4-3. Pitch to Nolan Arenado up and in, ball 1.
And you could tell that Yariel is struggling just a little bit with his command. Hasn't really thrown a good strike yet in this ball game.
(1-0). Swing and a fly ball out to center. Clase coming in, and he'll make the catch. Cardinals get 4 in the inning, capped off by Ivan Herrera's 3-run homer. It's Cardinals 4, Blue Jays 3, going to the 9th. Toronto needs 1 to keep this game going. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 9th inning is brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites, only at Pizza Pizza. Actually Canadian. Boy, has this game changed. 4-run bottom of the 8th for the Cardinals. So as we start the 9th, it's 4-3 for St. Louis. Pitch to Ernie Clement from the closer, Ryan Helsley. A slider right down the middle. Taken for strike 1. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Helsley the closer with an 0-1. Swing and a miss and a slider in the dirt. No balls, 2 strikes.
Helsley's having a pretty solid season, but he has given up an earned run in each of his last 2 outings.
Those were to the Dodgers and the Royals. Right-handers 0-2. Ernie Clement rounds it foul. It's Clement, Clase, Bichette scheduled to hit. Roden, Heineman, Straw left on the bench. Helsley was Major League Baseball's saves leader last year. 49 saves for the right-hander. He was the saves leader despite the fact that the Cardinals were just barely above a 500 ball club. 0-2. Bounced it in front of the plate, ball 1. Right-hander works with a 99-mile-per-hour four-seamer, high 80s slider, a curveball, and he's got a cutter that he was working on in spring, but he's kind of gone away from it, not throwing it all that much anymore. Is 1-2. In the dirt again, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a pretty good take from Ernie Clement. Tough pitch in the dirt, but just below that strike zone. A lot of break on it.
Clement 1 for 3 today, a double and a run scored. Helsley kicks and offers. And misses to the backstop. Sailed the fastball at 100 near the head of the home plate ump. Dan Bellino, full count. Helsley has kind of been all over the place. Threw the first pitch down the middle and then got his second strike on a pitch in the dirt. Hasn't worked the edges much in this first at-bat. 3-2 pitch from the right hand. Swing and a pop-up, foul, first base side. New catcher Pedro Pajes takes off the mask, but that one goes over the first base dugout into the 7th row of seats. Still 3-2.
And he has walked a decent amount of people this season. 12 walks in his 23 innings of work.
Walks are a little up. Strikeouts are a little down. He's still a very good pitcher, but maybe just a tick behind what he did last year when he was an all-star and had a 2.04 earned run average with 49 saves. His 8th pitch to Ernie Clement. Popped up again. That one over shortstop. Mason Wynn back out on the left field grass, and he will make the catch off to his left. Might have been ball 4 there that Clement swung at. There's 1 out. This is not a thing that the Blue Jays have been accustomed to for a lot of this year. With few exceptions, their bullpen has been about as consistent as a whole as any unit on this team. But between Brendan Little and Yariel Rodriguez, 4 runs allowed in the 8th inning after the Blue Jays led from the top of the first on.
I mean, specifically Brendan Little and Yariel Rodriguez. They've been rock solid.
Pitch to Jonathan Clase. High ball 1. The team, because of those guys' performances, maybe hasn't felt the loss of Jimmy Garcia, or it hasn't become apparent recently, but tonight's a night where perhaps you feel it a little bit. 1-0 to Jonathan Clase. Hit foul 101 above the zone, sent into the seats. 1-1.
So difficult to see that 101 at the top of the strike zone and then that slider below the strike zone. Helsley's got really good stuff.
Career Cardinal. Helsley's 1-1. Downstairs with the slider. It's kind of funny. Guys are hitting above 400 on Helsley's fastball coming into this game, but they're not driving it at all. It's only 1 extra base hit allowed, and usually that's fine in the 9th inning. You can give up a single, maybe 2, as long as you don't give up big hits. 4-3 Cardinals, the 2-1. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep right center field. Scott at the warning track. That ball is out of here! First homer of the season. Jonathan Clase ties it in the 9th. A big swing for the little guy. Clase ties it at 4.
Well, we noticed earlier in the ballgame that he was swinging really hard on a couple of fastballs. He got a 4-seam fastball right down the middle there, and he didn't miss it. What a swing. What a big spot for the youngster.
These guys are just never out of a ball game. Huge knock by Jonathan Clase on a 4-seamer. Only the 2nd extra base hit given up on a 4-seamer from Helsley this year. And he'll try to settle in with the top of the order coming up. Pitch to Bo Bichette. Low ball 1.
I mean, these guys are never out of it, but I didn't think that was going to happen.
Right. Yeah. Good time to hit your first homer of the year. 2nd career for Jonathan Clase. 1-0. Fouled off to the right. 1-1. And it wasn't a wall scraper. You know, all homers count the same, but Ivan Herrera hit one just barely over the wall right down the line. Clase hit it 415 feet, 5-6 rows back to right center field. 1-1 to Bo. Bounce to the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And don't look now, but the top of the lineup's up.
Trying to capitalize on Ryan Helsley, who's going through a bit of a rough patch. That's now runs in 3 straight appearances allowed by Helsley. 2-1 pitch. Grounded foul by Bichette. A slider inside and a little bit low. 2-2.
How good of a feeling is that? Jonathan Clase can't stay still in that dugout right now. Big smiles from him.
A pretty subdued guy, but he had a big fist pump and scream when that went over the wall in between first and second. 2-2 pitch. Bichette asked for time. It wasn't granted, and it's called strike 3. Bo Bichette wanted to say something, and I think knowing the spot in the game, stopped himself and turned around. But John Schneider's going to get his money's worth, as Dan Bellino not only didn't grant him time, but rung him up on a borderline pitch.
Well, I know that everybody wants to argue here, but John Schneider needs to stay in this game as well. Bo Bichette doing everything he can not to say anything to home plate umpire Dan Bellino, but he took his helmet off. It looked like he was going to slam his helmet. That's not a good idea at this point in the ball game, but I mean, that's tough. That's a tough play right there.
I will say credit to Bichette. He takes a step back, and then you could see the switch flip in his head. I just can't do this right now. And he turned around and walked back to the dugout. John Schneider back in the dugout as well. And now the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Fastball called high, probably had the zone. Ball 1. Four game after the solo shot from Clase. Top of the 9th, 2 outs. 1-0 to Guerrero. Swing and a rope to third through Arenado down the left field line, rolling slowly into the corner. Vlad around first. Hill head to second base. We'll see what they score it, but either way, the Blue Jays have the go-ahead run in scoring position in the 9th.
Well, that ball was absolutely ripped. I mean, a lot of the times it doesn't matter how hard a ball is hit. Nolan Arenado comes up with that baseball, but it just looked like he didn't get down. You really don't see that very often from Nolan Arenado. Normally he has those legs bent, very athletic position. He just didn't get down to field that baseball.
This is a guy who won 10 consecutive Gold Gloves to start his career, and a run of 6 straight Platinum Gloves. 6. And maybe a bit of a Nolan Arenado scoring decision. They gave Vlad a double rather than charging Arenado with the error. Now it's going to be a mound visit as they go over to talk with the closer, Ryan Helsley, who's in trouble all of a sudden. Gave up the 1-out home run and now a 2-out double to Vlad. Addison Barger will hit, trying to give the Blue Jays a lead again.
I like this matchup. Big power versus big power.
Barger already has an offensive impact on this game. He came up with a hit and scored a run in the first inning. 4-4 with 2 outs and a runner on second, top of the 9th. Ryan Helsley comes in and you're trailing. Most of the time you can say goodnight to trying to win that game. But the youngster, the 23-year-old Jonathan Clase, comes up with a solo homer, his first home run of the year. And now the Blue Jays can dream about taking the lead. Barger steps in left side. Helsley, the righty, kicks and offers. Breaking ball for a strike. That was the rare curve for strike 1.
Well, that'll be off on contact, too, so you can bet that he's going to score on anything.
Single to the outfield should bring Guerrero home. Helsley already 20 pitches into this inning. His 21st. Slide step, and he skipped it at 102. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Imagine being able to slide step at 102 miles an hour. Guy's got a really good arm.
Really good arm. Really good closer, but that hasn't seemed to matter much for the Blue Jays recently. They got a run off Yohan Duran last series. Now they got a run off Helsley in this one. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 1-2. Not to mention finishing the Phillies series by walking off, or in the second game, walking off Jordan Romano. Barger asks for time. He's in a 1-2 count after the swing and a miss. Go-ahead run on second in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Helsley onto the first base side of the rubbers. Sets at the belt. Now brings his red glove up to his chin. 1-2. Fouled off of the back ankle. Barger hopping around. He'll take a walk for a moment as he hit that one on the outside part of his left ankle.
We've seen that a few times this season, but still, Addison Barger refuses to wear that ankle protection. That one hit him on the inside part of that foot. Can't feel good, but How many more times do you think it'll take to get him to wear that ankle protection?
It was actually the right ankle part of me. I don't think he'll wear it. I mean, the way he's been hitting, I wouldn't be shocked if he was eating the same breakfast and wearing the same pajamas to sleep every night. When you're hitting like he's hitting for the last month, you don't change. One, two. Swing and a miss, strike three. Got him on a nasty slider, but the damage already done by the Blue Jays. They get a home run from Jonathan Clase, his first of the year, and we are tied at 4 going to the bottom of the 9th inning. Jeff Hoffman on for the Blue Jays next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Francis kicks and delivers. Called strike three, 95.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. Blue Jays and Cardinals tied at 4 as we head to the bottom of the 9th at Busch Stadium. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk this evening. Blair and Barker have the post-game show. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. You can text them as well. 590-590, name and location. The People's text line, always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Again, the Blue Jays and Cardinals now tied at 4 in this back-and-forth game. We're headed to the bottom of the 9th inning at Busch Stadium with the call. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show, and my apologies. Jumped the gun a little bit. It's still Yariel Rodriguez into the ball game for the Blue Jays. Toronto saving Hoffman for now. They will stick with Rodriguez in a 4-4 game, bottom of the 9th. If there's free baseball, potentially save opportunities coming up a little later. They can't worry about that now, though. Got to get to the 10th, and that's going to require Rodriguez first to retire Alec Burleson. First pitch heater, called a ball. This has been quite the zone tonight. It's 1-0.
Alejandro Kirk actually tilted his head, letting the home plate umpire know that was a strike. That was a good pitch.
It's a strike or it's a ball, depending on which way the wind is blowing right now. Inside, outside, up and down, doesn't matter. 1-0. Swing and a hard ground ball to second, snagged by the Platinum Glover, Andres Jimenez. He twists and throws to first. 1 out. It's the bottom third of the order right now for the Cardinals. Number 7 hitter Burleson retired, so Ryan Valade will bat for the second time. He came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and struck out swinging against Brendan Little. The pitch to Valade. Called to strike. 0-1. Valade, a former Rockies second rounder, 2017, has played 26 major league games. 0-1. Slider poked away, foul. Big point out to the hill from Alejandro Kirk. And it's 0-2.
That's a good job filling up the zone. That's really his job right now. Just fill up that strike zone. You don't want to put the winning run on base via the free pass.
1 out, bases empty. 4-4, bottom 9. 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the slider down and away. And there are 2 outs.
Dropped the arm slot just a little bit on that one. Haven't seen that very much recently, but that's a good pitch.
Can't imagine mentally this is an easy spot for Rodriguez. Just minutes ago, he gave up the go-ahead home run. But the Blue Jays picked him up a little bit with the homer to tie it. And now they're asking him to bear down here, put last inning behind him, and get them to the 10th. Pitch to Victor Scott. Fastball, called a strike, outside corner. 0-1.
It's really easy as a reliever to lose focus after an inning like that. You go in the dugout, you just assume the game is over. It's the pitching coach's job to go right up to that reliever and say, hey, if we tie the ball game, you're still in this game, so focus up. And I'm sure Pete Walker did that.
0-1, bounced foul, third base side. And with 2 outs, there are 2 strikes on the left-handed hitting Scott. Rodriguez trying to send it to extras. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the splitter, a skip off the hill, and we got free baseball coming up at Busch Stadium. 4-4 game going to the 10th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle? Beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Adley with you. The Blue Jays and Cardinals still tied at 4 as we head to the top of the 10th at Busch Stadium. Quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Stanley Cup final action on right now. Game 3 underway in Florida. The third period just about to start. Panthers up 4-1. Sam Bennett, one of 4 different players to score his 14th goal of these playoffs. You can watch it on Sportsnet and the CBC. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. This game is tied at 4, top of the 10th at Busch Stadium. Automatic runner time. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Automatic runner for the Blue Jays is Addison Barger. He'll start on second. 4-4 game, top of the 10th. And it's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 2024 Tampa Bay Ray Phil Maton is into the game for the Cardinals. Right-hander, typically the setup man for St. Louis. Alejandro Kirk leading off. Maton, the righty, looks to second in the pitch. Down and away, diving stab to keep it from the backstop. Good play by Pages, who comes up a little bit awkwardly. It's 1-0.
That could have been a game-saving play from Pages back there, keeping Addison Barger at second base.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. Blue Jays, at a minimum, will want to just get Barger to third in this at-bat. 1-0 pitch on the outer edge, strike 1. Phil Maton, a veteran of 441 Major League games. In 26 games this year, he's got a 2.25 earned run average. He's saved a couple games for the Cardinals, and he's punched out 31 while walking 7 in 24 innings. His 1-1. Swing and a fly ball. Deep left field. Going back Nootbaar. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Barger had to wait. He'll come around third and in to score. Kirk into second with an RBI double. It's 5-4 Blue Jays because Alejandro Kirk refuses to stop producing.
I mean, it is getting absurd right now. That was just a hanging curveball, and like I've said so many times over this hot streak, Alejandro Kirk just doesn't miss mistakes. He continues to hit those hanging breaking balls, those fastballs on the outer third. He hammered that thing off the wall in left field. He's standing at second base now, and the Blue Jays are in the lead in this ball game.
And you can hear a little applause. That's Blue Jays fans applauding Kirk, who trots off the field as Toronto brings in Alan Rodin to run for him. Because now that the Blue Jays have one, that second run is almost twice as important to try and create some distance from St. Louis. Pitch to George Springer outside, ball one. We were a funny hop away from a Kirk cycle, by the way. He ends the day with a single, 2 doubles, and a home run. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this guy's hitting .316 now.
1-0 pitch outside, 2 balls, no strikes. It's unbelievable what he's done. We're getting to the point where he's probably looking better this year than he might have in his Silver Slugger year. And he was DHing all the time that year. 2-0. Springer drives it out to right field. That one is slicing foul into the seats deep down the right field line. 2-1. Couple of former Astros, although they just missed each other, were not teammates. Maton's 2-1 to Springer. Outside ball 3. Maton was part of that second-generation successful Astros team, pitched with Houston from 2021 to 2023, including being a big part of that World Series winning club in 22. 3-1 pitch. Loops in a breaking ball for a strike. Full count. Curve is the main pitch for the righty, but he throws the cutter nearly as often. He'll also feature a sinker and a sweeper. Won't throw anything much harder than 91. Rodin on second, and the payoff pitch to Springer. High, ball 4, up and in. It rings the bell of Springer, who leaned back out of the way. He's got a walk and 2 are aboard for the Blue Jays with nobody out.
He's nodding his head. You could imagine that he's pumped up after taking that walk. There's on first and second now, nobody out, and I'm assuming that John Schneider might think about getting those guys to second and third with 1 out in this inning. I don't know, though.
It's possible. Andres Jimenez has some history of bunting in his career. He's had 12 sacrifices. He squares early and bunts the first pitch to third. Picked up Arenado. Hesitates and throws down to first. Runners both advance. There's 1 out on a good sacrifice by Andres Jimenez.
Yeah, that's a great sacrifice, but Nolan Arenado almost threw that ball away. I don't know if anything's going on with him, but he made a couple of plays today that he just doesn't normally make.
I mean, this is truly, I don't think this is hyperbole to say, one of the best defensive third basemen in the history of the game. You don't win 10 Gold Gloves in a row without being that. It's just been a weird day for him. And now an intentional walk to Nathan Lucas. The Cardinals are going to load the bases, set up a double play, and a force at the plate. That puts Ernie Clement into the spotlight. 5-4 Blue Jays, 1 out top of the 10th. For a second time today, Jeff Hoffman is getting loose. The pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball, foul. I mean, if you're the Blue Jays, you got to get 1 here, right?
Yeah, you have to get 1. It's Ernie Clement's job to get that ball to the outfield, get some loft underneath of it. You don't want to strike out in this situation.
You got a good runner at third in Rodin. Middle infield plays a little bit in. The corners are certainly in. 0-1. Swing and a ground ball hooked to third. Arenado steps on third for 1 out. Toss over to first. Inning ending. Double play. The intentional walk works wonders for the Cardinals. The Blue Jays get 1, but they do not add on. 5-4. Toronto leads. Jeff Hoffman coming into this ball game for the bottom of the 10th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that TimberMart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the TimberMart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as TimberMart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com.
Timbermark, Canada's building center.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 Ks today for Kevin Gausman in 7 scoreless innings.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you as the Blue Jays now lead the Cardinals 5-4 as we head to the bottom of the 10th inning at Busch Stadium. Don't forget, we will have Jays Talk this evening. Blair and Barker with the postgame show. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out, and you can text them as well. I see a bunch here, so we'll pass those along to Blair and Barker. 590-590, name and location. The People's text line, always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Jays lead the Cards 5-4, bottom 10 at Busch Stadium. Jeff Hoffman indeed into this ballgame. Here are Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. 5-4 for the Blue Jays, but they feel like they should have had more. They got a double to start the 10th from Alejandro Kirk, loaded the bases with 1 out after a sac bunt, but a ground ball double play ended the inning. So the tying run is the ghost runner Victor Scott, or the automatic runner on second, and the first pitch to Lars Nootbaar, hit away foul, 0-1.
And how about Victor Scott standing at second base right now for the Cardinals? A ton of speed out there.
Literally would have been the last pick for the Blue Jays of guys they want out there at second. Hoffman looks back at him. One more look to second, and the 0-1. Fastball in there. 0-2. Hoffman picked up a pair of saves in 2 appearances against the Twins. This is a finer margin to work with an automatic runner already in scoring position and only up 1. 0-2. Missed high and outside with the splitter. 4-seamer, sinker, splitter, and slider for Jeff Hoffman, making his 30th appearance of the year. One-two. Swing and a miss, strike 3. One of the best splitters we've seen from him in a while. He gets Nootbaar to whiff over top of it, 1 out.
And that's exactly what you want in that situation. You want the strikeout or perhaps an infield pop-up, but you want to keep that runner at second base, especially a guy with Scott's speed. That is a perfect pitch and a perfect location. Good job from Tyler Heineman back there calling that pitch.
1 out now. Mason Wynn is up. The pitch. Slider for a strike. 0-1. Hoffman has 15 saves this season. No one in baseball has finished more games than Hoffman. 0-1. Hit on the ground just past the mound. Picked up Jimenez up the middle. Snaps a throw to first and gets the speedy win. 2 down. Scott will advance to third.
I'll take that. Now you have 2 outs. I'll trade that extra base for an out in that situation. Now it's up to Jeff Hoffman to make his pitches.
It's a tough play for Andres Jimenez. That ball skipped off the glove of Hoffman, and Jimenez, kind of a la young Robinson Cano, had to plant as he was moving right and throw back to the left. 2 outs, and the game on the line. Brendan Donovan is up. The pitch. Swing and a miss at a splitter, 0-1. Again, probably the last pick the Blue Jays would have made with the game on the line, because Donovan's a .316 hitter who has a base hit in today's game. 5-4 Blue Jays. 2 outs in the 10th. The 0-1. Swing and a foul off. Fastball in on the hands makes it 0-2.
They got lucky there. They missed the spot by quite a bit. Trying to go above that strike zone. You could see the target way above the strike zone. They missed almost middle.
Well, now likely you go nowhere near the strike zone. Tyler Heineman, the new catcher this inning, sets up low. The pitch. Swing and a liner, right center field, hanging up for Clase, who makes the grab to end the game. Fitting it was Clase who makes the catch to win it for the Blue Jays. He was heroic in the ninth, and the Blue Jays deal with the adversity of blowing the lead to come back and win it in the 10th.
It's a big win for the Toronto Blue Jays. Make no mistake about it. Jonathan Clase comes up huge for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's probably the last guy that I would have put my money on, but he took that fastball right down the middle and hammered it for a game-tying home run and gave the Blue Jays a chance to win this ballgame.
Blue Jays win 5-4 in 10 innings. We will take a quick step aside, and when we come back, we will wrap it up and get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park.
Hey baseball fans, thanks for hanging out with us tonight on Toronto Sports Insider, wherever you are watching from all over the world. I just wanted to say thank you for being here and making a difference in our community and showing the world how we can make a difference together on YouTube, because that's what this is all about. Insiders, I am grateful to have met so many thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people over this time. We must enjoy every single moment that we have together moving forward. We'll see you back in the chat. Go Blue Jays, go. Go Oilers, go. Go Insiders, go. Let's go show the world how we make a difference with SickKids Hospital. Can't wait. Be on the lookout for a video that'll be dropping very soon, where we'll be talking with SickKids Hospital about what we do and about where all of this fundraising benefits our great partner with SickKids Hospital. We'll see you soon with that video. Can't wait to chat with you, Samara. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I don't even remember which day it is anymore. All the days keep running together. Now let's get back to the baseball, the hockey, the basketball, the whatever it is, and we'll see you back in the chat.
All right, Chris LaRue, we're going to get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker very quickly. But first, Chris, let's take a look back at this very entertaining ball game. Jose Berrios versus Andre Pallante, and both starters looked really good. Pallante had some early stumbles. Berrios did not. Each of them threw a pitch in the 7th inning, and they dominated the game for the first 6 frames.
Well, Jose Berrios has been great for the last 3 starts. He's given up 1 earned run in his last 3 starts. He's been great. The command of his sinker, of the changeup, of that slurve has been next level. I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do. But Andre Pallante, he was great as well. The stuff, the command, this was just an entertaining ball game. The Cardinals were able to claw their way back against a tough Blue Jays bullpen. And then, of course, Jeff Hoffman closed the door.
Blue Jays got some early runs, an RBI double by George Springer, and then an RBI single by Ernie Clement, but it stayed 2-0 for a while. It looked like Toronto had picked up the cushion they needed when Alejandro Kirk hit a solo home run in the 8th inning. We'll keep coming back to Kirk. He had 4 hits today, pretty much all of them big hits. But the 8th inning, the bottom half of it, really fell apart for the Blue Jays. Brendan Little, who had gotten 1 out in the 7th, came out, walked the leadoff hitter. He did strike out a couple, but also gave up a hit. He left with 2 on and 2 outs. And for the first time in a while, we saw some struggles from Yariel Rodriguez. He came in, gave up an RBI single, then a 3-run homer that gave the Cardinals the lead going into the 9th inning. Most of the time when the Cardinals lead and Ryan Helsley comes on, that is where the game stops. Helsley got a pop out from Ernie Clement to start the 9th, and then Jonathan Clase stepped up. 4-3 Cardinals, the 2-1. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep right center field. Scott at the warning track. That ball is out of here. First homer of the season. Jonathan Clase ties it in the 9th. A big swing for the little guy. Clase ties it at 4.
Well, you said it, Ben. That was an incredible moment for the little guy. He got that fastball, that 4-seam fastball from Ryan Helsley, who normally shuts the door 100 miles an hour, and he absolutely demolished it for his first home run of the season. What a big swing for him and a big swing for this Toronto Blue Jays ball club.
Could not have come at a better time. The Blue Jays tied it at 4. Credit to Yariel Rodriguez, I will say. He came back out for the 9th inning after the tough 8th. 1-2-3. Shut that down to get the Blue Jays to extra innings. Toronto started extra innings with a double from Alejandro Kirk to score the first run. They loaded the bases with 1 out, but hit into a ground ball double play. So it looked like we might be playing an 11th inning. The Cardinals just had to bring in the automatic runner. But Jeff Hoffman came out. And just last thing from you, Chris, you had mentioned it after we got off air from the 9th inning. Hoffman looked about as good in that 10th, getting the guys in order as he has in a while.
Yeah, that wasn't his best fastball of the season, but I think that was his best split finger of the season just because the location, every time he threw that split finger, it was down. It starts at the bottom of that strike zone and then just dips below it. A great outing from him, and I'm sure his confidence is on the rise.
Blue Jays win 5-4 in 10 innings. 5 runs on 13 hits, 1 error, 10 left for Toronto. For St. Louis, 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 6 left. The win goes to Yariel Rodriguez, his first decision of the year. The loss to Phil Maton, who allowed the automatic runner in the 10th, and a 16th save for Jeff Hoffman. 2-hour, 48-minute game in front of over 30,000 at Busch Stadium, and the Blue Jays win makes the Blue Jays 36-30 and the Cardinals 36-30. Blue Jays have an opportunity to take another series on this road trip tomorrow. Chris Bassett is on the hill. He'll take on Miles Michaelis. Another 7:45 Eastern first pitch from Busch Stadium. We hope you can join us then. For our technical director, Tom Young, our host and producer, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your night and stick around. An extra innings winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
Alejandro Kirk drives in the eventual winning run. Jeff Hoffman goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 10th. Kevin Barker, your Blue Jays 5-4 winners over the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, that's good, right? I mean, on the road occasionally against a good team, you got to grind out some wins. That's exactly what happened. You know, it's the first time I think we've seen a little, chink in the armor when it comes to the pen, right? I mean, Little coming out, spinning that thing. He's either locating or bouncing it. You know, sometimes you walk guys. You know, I don't mind when they brought him in. 4 of the next 5 were left-handed hitters. I think John made the right move there. Yariel, occasionally you're going to hang a spinner. I mean, that's just life. You're a human being. You know, they bounce back from that. Class say it's supporting cast, right? I mean, we've been talking about that for weeks now about it takes 13 guys. On this team, it's going to take 13. It ain't 2 or 3. It's 13 of them. And, you know, I think that's about the only place that he could hit a homer is a 2-1 heater right down the middle. I've been saying this forever. If you let him, no matter if you're in the league close or not, they're going to end up throwing you one down the middle. That's exactly what happened. Nice little short, compact swing. Gives you a chance to get it in the air. I mean, it's sometimes I think it's got that feel, Jeff, where, you know, the way you started your season, you couldn't keep it in the yard. You couldn't hit it out of the yard. Now, all of a sudden, sort of everybody that walks to the plate has an opportunity of getting a big hit, helping a team win a baseball game. It's just got that feel. Again, like that.
Yeah, there's a considerable amount of swagger to this team right now. I think it's safe to say. The numbers, as always, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. If you are texting us, 590 is the text line. Again, the Blue Jays in 10 innings, beating the St. Louis Cardinals 5-4 in the first game of a 3-game series. The Jays are now 36-30 and continuing to cut into that less than spectacular record against teams that are 500 or better. Good series win over the Twins. A win tomorrow can give them a series win over St. Louis. Then you got 3 games coming up against the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia. Kevin, before we talk about the offense a little bit and Alejandro Kirk, you know, Yariel Rodriguez has emerged as a bulwark of this bullpen. 16 2/3 scoreless innings coming into tonight. Gives up a home run. Sees the lead evaporate. Comes back out in the next inning and bridges them to Jeff Hoffman. I wonder, obviously, Yariel Rodriguez would rather not give up the home run. But I wonder if this also isn't maybe a little bit of you're big on graduation games. And I'm wondering if coming back out after giving up that lead and just going about your business, if that's a further sign of just what a different pitcher this guy is compared to the guy we saw last year.
Yeah, I think it's more about early in the game when you see him getting loose, when, he knows he's going to pitch 2 or 3 innings after he's getting loose. I think that, for me, is more important. The routine, seemed like, for me, he's mastered, what works for him. That's getting loose a little bit earlier than normal people would be getting loose, just to get his mind right, get his extension right, keep it in the zone a little bit longer. His stuff's a tick higher, which is a big deal. He's throwing a little bit harder. Again, you see him being occasionally somebody's going to hang one. That's sort of what happened. Middle of the order, you hang one, you get burnt for it. But yeah, I think so. I think that says more about what John and Petey think of him than, sort of what the graduation of what we're seeing with Yariel. Give everybody credit. He's made adjustments. They put him in situations now that higher leverage thing seems like just between the years has given him enough confidence and told him that his stuff's going to play against high octane offensive players. And, sort of he's taking it and run with it, and he's making everybody seem and tell everybody they're right. So, yeah, he's been great.
416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590. Carlos in Richmond Hill, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking the call. That is a huge win after what looked like a devastating 8th inning. One comment and one question for you guys. Andre Jimenez, he might only hit 230 or something. He made a really nice defensive play in the 9th inning and then another really nice play in the 10th inning. I think that defense is really going to play if we stay in this stretch. Like, the baseball IQ looks off the chart. The glove is really good. So I think happy to have him back. My question for you guys, I get the Rodriguez stats you guys were just quoting. Berrios was at 89 pitches. Like, if we're going to play meaningful games in September, Schneider has to stop doing this. If a guy is dealing, he could have gone 8 shutout innings, I think. He gave up the 2-out base hit. In my mind, that is a premature hook on a guy that's dealing, and we've seen that in the playoffs, as you guys know. I think Schneider needs to stop, but I'd love to get your take there.
Hang on. I want you to stay in the line. Kevin, talk to Carlos. Explain why neither of us had an issue with John Schneider.
Yeah, Carlos, with all due respect, it's June 9th. I mean, I understand what we've seen in the past, who we've seen him do it to, and Brendan Little's been almost as dominant as you can possibly be. And again, you got to remember, other than the pinch hitter, that was 4 lefties out of the next 5 batters. Like, he basically lined it up with the lead with a dude standing at second base. I just don't know how you can argue that. And going forward, you got to remember too, Carlos, they really don't have a 4th and 5th starter. I know they said Bowden's going to make his next start, but they still don't have a 4th and 5th starter. So you're trying to protect with the lead, get it to your high leverage guys with that sort of pocket that he'd planned on. I'm sure they were thinking about that before the game started, right? If they have the lead with a runner on, he gets you to that point. We're turning it over to Little because he's had a couple of days off. So I can sort of see your point, but I can't really see your point just because it's June 9th.
I could be mistaken, but I feel like other teams, 6 2/3 shutout innings, 89 pitches, keep going. I get where we are in the lineup. I get who's coming up, but I watch a lot of baseball. I feel like teams would say, look, you got another 15 pitches in you the way you're dealing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of games this year where pitchers don't go through 7 innings. I mean, that's a rarity at this point. And I think, thanks for the call, Carlos. I think, John Schneider's in a predicament right now. There's a lot of hope is being pinned on Max Scherzer's thumb, on Spencer Turnbull's ability to, I don't know, to Adam Macko staying healthy at AAA. This is almost a crisis situation for the Blue Jays in terms of their starting rotation. They've got a couple of off days coming up. They've got to start figuring out a way to balance not overworking the bullpen and not overworking the rotation. That is going to be tricky. And as I said, I think Normally, I would have been a little surprised to see Berrios come out, but in that situation, as Kevin said, with the three lefties coming up, and with Brendan Little being as good as he's been, and with Brendan Little being rested, and knowing that Yariel Rodriguez is there, I really didn't have an issue with it. And more to the point, you could tell Jose Berrios didn't have an issue with it either when he came out. But, this is a tightrope that John Schneider and Pete Walker have to walk until something happens to give them another starting option.
Yeah, it's how many times you face the top of the order, right? They don't want the top of the order to see them that many times. You got a 3-0 lead. It wasn't the best Berrios we've ever seen, right? Strike one, he'd thrown it about 48% of the time. That's not great, right? It was an effortless wind-up, relying more on the good finish. It just didn't have that late giddy-up that he normally has. The late movement was pretty good because he had better finish, because it was effortless, right? The balanced attack, which he always has, makes him very unpredictable. I think allowed him to, sequence, sort of that on deck circle at bat, right? Beating the guy over there because he can't really game plan because of how much that balance sequencing is, right? Just sort of, it's the backdoor sliders, it's the fastballs up and in, it's the front hip two-seamer. I mean, it just wasn't his best. And again, if you got Brendan Little, who's basically been unhittable and been dominating lefties, I mean, I can kind of see Carlos, and again, it just gets back to managing in 2025. If it works, everybody thinks you're a genius. Way to go. You're saving Berrios for his next start, right? You want to see the best out of him continuously. If it don't work, then people who watch baseball like Carlos, and have a good feel for the game are going, man alive, it'd been nice to leave the starter out there because he's dominating. So I think sometimes you just, be happy that everybody's leaving the way it should be leaving, and they want probably a baseball game maybe they shouldn't have won on the road.
Managers, that's been the story with managers forever and ever.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
you can tell Carlos knows what he's talking about. He's watched a lot of baseball. It's a fair take.
Yeah, it absolutely is a fair take. Claudio in King City on the text line. I love the move putting Rodriguez back in the ninth. He has earned high leverage outings and happy that he can leave the game knowing he contributed to the win. Now he can flush that eighth inning and go back to pitching great like he has been. Alex in the Junction, regardless of how this game ends, he sent this along before the end of the game, Kirk is more than living up to his contract on both sides of the ball. I usually agree with most of Barker's takes, but the Jays were smart to lock him up and take that pressure off. Kevin, he's hitting .316. He's got a shot at going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good catchers in baseball. He's having a really good year. I mean,
take more than one, though, don't forget.
His lower half is I mean, I know you're taking jabs at me because I was the one that said, what's your big hurry? And I'm still sticking with that. What's your big hurry? I mean, he's still got a year left, but hey, they look like geniuses. I mean, he's proven everybody right, saying, I think everybody knew that he was a real good player, right? Did they think that he was this kind of hitter, could do this with 2 strikes, could do that, play almost every single day behind the plate? Did you? Yeah, I don't think you knew that. No. Nobody else knew that. No, that was my only point. I don't think one time, and you can back me up on this, did I say don't pay him? I just said, what's your hurry in paying him? That's what I said.
Thing.
So it is not.
It is the same thing.
No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing when you want to poke and pick at me because you're wrong, because you have no idea what I said. He's having an outstanding year. He is one of the main reasons why they're 6 or 7 games above 500.
6.
Where would they be without him? Right? With who they don't have, Tony Taters basically is Tony non-existent. So it's like, good for Kirk. He's hitting cleanup for the Blue Jays in Rankin. So good for him.
Yeah. More like Tony's Donuts, as in 0.
Well, I mean, he's hit some homers. Be nice.
Morgan in Halifax, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Good.
Well, the Blue Jays did better than the Oilers tonight, that's for sure. So that's a bright spot.
I watched a little bit of that. I'm not surprised.
Honestly. Anyhow, the starting rotation going in down the stretch here into the All-Star break. We got, we're all aware of Bowden Francis and what he's looking like here in the last little bit. I want to know how you guys would schedule the rotation going here with the off day on Thursday, off day Monday. What do you guys think the rotation should look like going into the stretch here?
Appreciate the call. Boy, I don't think you can plan it right now. Eric Lauer, to me, gets a start, obviously, in the final game of this series.
The Blue Jays get it done and get the victory. Okay, I was just recording that in the Stanley Cup hangout. So we have about 4,000 people hanging out with us there in the third period of the Stanley Cup Finals. Make sure to get on over to our hockey stream and go Jays go for getting the victory. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's play ball. Big video incoming from the Dome. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's go. Anyways, back to the hockey. Thank you for being here. Keep it classy in the chat. Cheers, everybody. And oh yeah, big shout out before we get back to the hockey because it's coming quick. But the email just came through and I have to shout out this name, Marilyn S. Thank you for your donation to SickKids Hospital. You earned a shout out with that donation. Thank you so much, Marilyn S., for clicking that link that's pinned in the chat and donating to our Playoff Pulse campaign. Let's keep raising money for SickKids Hospital. Let's keep making a difference, Toronto sports fans. Go Leafs, go Oilers, go. Come on, boys. Go hockey, go. Come on, score a damn goal, Oilers. Come on.
Nice. And after dropping the opener in Dallas, won 4 straight against the Stars.
About the last two guys.
And actually, I would almost say it's more about getting Bassett and Gossman an extra day's rest.
You would think so.
Than Jose
They're
Berrios.
always the normal picks, yeah.
Right. But, I mean, listen, your point is well made. It's not optimal. Max Scherzer, this is going to be interesting because I don't know who calls the ball in Max Scherzer. I don't know if ultimately the decision.
Max?
Ultimately it's Max. Ultimately, Max is going to tell them whether the thumb's good to go or not. And that'll be, again, even if Max Scherzer comes back, let's be clear. Max Scherzer, the chance of him coming back and giving them 7 2/3 every outing, that's not on. You are literally, with Max Scherzer for the rest of the year, going to be wondering what the day after feels like for the rest of the year. That's just going to be life with Max. So they still have to straighten out, I think. They still have to figure out how they accommodate Bowden's inconsistency compared to anything else. And again, Adam Macko is in AAA. He's a guy that they've thought about. Spencer Turnbull's with the major league team. Kevin, maybe there's your answer. I don't know. Maybe you go Lauer and Turnbull, right? Lefty, righty.
Well, yeah.
Maybe that's something you look at.
There you go. It's about getting it to the highest leverage guys, right? So, they got some options. Just how good are the options? That's the point. And the day offs is more about the big three than it is anybody else trying to get the extra day and, just how you sort of surround and try and figure out how to basically not injure and abuse the top 3 guys because they've been pitching forever. That's the key point here. So
we may even, there may even have to be another bullpen game. I mean, you just don't know.
Boy, I hope not.
They're going to be piecing this together.
Not for the bullpen arms.
They're going to be piecing this together. But, that's where we are. And I want to caution people that, Max Scherzer, when he comes off the IL, there's just no guarantee. I still believe we all of us have to take whatever Max Scherzer gives us as gravy. I just don't think you can pencil him in or you can put him in pen and expect anything terrific every time he goes out there. I just don't. I think you'll drive yourself nuts if you do that because it is, let's face it, the chances of him going the rest of the year without going back in the IL aren't good. I don't
think that's the point. The point is right now to weather the storm now to get to the trade deadline, and maybe you can add a piece that might be a little better and give you a little bit more opportunity to not have to so much worry about 2 spots instead of 1 spot. Well, again, when's the last time you heard about Max's thumb? He's been pitching and throwing like heart rate wise for almost a month now. Have you heard anything about the thumb? I haven't. So back to your point, whether, who's making the call, it's Max. Cause I would assume if, you haven't heard anything from Max with the organization. You'd think the organization will be, well, if you're conditioned enough to throw 65 pitches in AAA, won't you be doing that in the big league? So, yeah, I mean, for me, this is more about Max than is the organization. And hopefully when Max gets back, he's at least giving you an opportunity to at least get it to maybe one of those guys like a Turnbull, sort of that 4-inning, 2-inning thing. And then you turn it over to Flu Hardys and the Littles and whoever else you want to go with. It's that kind of thing instead of worrying about, right, I got to worry about what Bowden's not doing. And now I got to worry about who's starting and opening, and it's it's sort of a cluster.
What did you make of Hoffman tonight?
Yeah, I thought that was one of the better split fingers he's thrown. I thought, again, here comes Heineman. I know we've been tooting Kirky forever, and we can't toot anymore. But boy, it sure is amazing whenever Heineman or anybody else is throwing to or he's catching anybody that's sort of been going through it. It's like when you throw a bad one, it's almost like I saw you throw a bad one. I'm going to call it again, and you're going to throw a better one because you remembered how it supposed to not feel to get it out there to make it go where you want it to go. It's just sort of that muscle memory. Yeah, I may be overthinking this thing, but it is amazing when Heineman is in that game how much better that secondary stuff looks, location looks. I mean, it wasn't so much his velocity tonight as it was location and movement on the slider and the split finger, which is, starting that 10th inning with that dude on second, you got to get after dudes. Like, you got to go be in attack mode, and you basically got to have more than 2 pitches to get through it, and that's what he had tonight.
Yeah, you basically have to freeze the runner at second base at least for 1 out. I mean,
yeah, he's doing it against lefties too, which is not the easiest to get. I mean, it's the top of the order. He's doing that too.
Ryan in Innisfil, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hello, gentlemen. Hope you guys are having a good night.
We are indeed.
Beauty. I just want to hop in quick before I get into my first point on the Bowden Francis starter sort of thing. I think it's a disservice to Bowden as well as the team to continue running him out at the state that he's in currently. I was a little bit confused as to why he wasn't one of the pitchers sent down, to be honest, because he looked absolutely defeated out there. The body language is no bueno. And I also think it's not beneficial to the peak of what this Blue Jays team is if you wait until the trade deadline to address this issue. They need to add another starter, and it needs to be sort of like an emergency act thing that they got going on in the front office right now, because we're fine, and that's my favorite thing about this team. They're taking that excuse and just squashing it right now and winning anyway. But how long does that go on for? Can we continue doing it like that? You don't really want to put stress on our top 3 starters at the moment. So, yeah. And what my actual point is currently is I'm incredibly optimistic about the Blue Jays right now. I think everyone who's a Blue Jays fan should be optimistic about the Blue Jays, not only for what this season can hold, but what the future can hold going forward. If they can lock up Bo and lock up Varsho and just have a good young core of the Kirky, Vladdy, Bo, it'll be awesome, man. Like, imagine this team this year if Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like, we'd be unstoppable. It would be such a fun watch. Not that it's not a fun watch currently. And last thing I want to say, too, is shout out Ben Shulman for the radio call on the Class A home run. That got me absolutely fired up. I would love to see him and his dad do a couple of the color commentary on the TV. Wow. That's all I got, boys.
Appreciate the call, Ryan. Thanks for that.
I like how people get fired up. Yeah, you can pass it on. They'll never listen to me, so you can pass it on.
There are, again, there's so much. It does make you wonder what the hell is going to happen when Vladdy starts raking.
What if you don't?
He can't. He can't keep this up all year, can he? He's better than this.
Wait,
he's better. You don't think he's better than this?
It's too late to have this talk. Is he better than this? I mean, we've seen him be better. So, fingers crossed that, I'll ask it to you this way. Do you think he's got it in him to carry the lineup when other dudes, like right now, Kirky, Springer, you can throw Bo in there, you can throw Barger in there, say 3 of those dudes aren't getting it done. You think Vladdy can carry the team for 2 weeks right now?
Right now? The way he is today, no.
Well, Again, I've said this, and I've been the only one to say it, that he needs plan B. And for whatever reason, you don't have plan B. I mean, we've seen this before in past years where, it's just, here it is, see if you can hit it, and it rarely happens. So fingers crossed it happens, because I think it'd be real tough to make the playoffs if he don't have that 2 or 3 week span where he's doing things that are special.
5-4, the Blue Jays have beaten the St. Louis Cardinals in 10 innings. We'll step aside and come back and look at a wild game in Boston, where a high-profile prospect made his MLB debut, and let's just say one of the first plays he made or didn't make will be memorable. It's Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your Kevin Gausman t-shirt giveaway, presented by Ryobi, free to the first 15,000 fans. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations.
The Blue Jays get it done and get the victory. Okay, I was just recording that in the Stanley Cup hang.
Three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Sportsnet Plus is the